Have you ever felt drained after helping someone? It may start with small acts, staying late to support a coworker, listening to a friend pour out their worries, or being the family member everyone depends on. At first, these moments feel fulfilling, as though you're making a difference. But over time, something shifts. Your energy wanes, your patience thins, and the joy you once found in giving begins to fade. This isn't a sign of weakness, nor does it mean you care too little. Often, it's the opposite. You care so much that you give without limits, leaving yourself depleted in the process. It's a paradox that many kind-hearted people face. The desire to help others can lead to burnout when it's not balanced with care for oneself. Buddhist teachings offer profound insight into this struggle. Compassion is among the highest virtues, but it must come from a full heart, not one that is exhausted. True kindness includes kindness to yourself. Without this balance, you risk not only draining your energy, but also losing sight of your own needs and well-being. The path to sustainable compassion lies in finding harmony between helping others and caring for yourself. This balance allows you to give freely and joyfully, rather than out of guilt or obligation. To understand why this is so important, let's explore the story of Tenzin, a monk whose journey reveals the cost of endless giving and the freedom that comes with restoring balance. Tenzin was the kind of person everyone admired. As a young monk, his generosity and selflessness earned him the respect of his entire community. He would fetch water for the elderly, spend hours counseling those in grief, and always be the first to volunteer when help was needed. For Tenzin, these acts of service were his way of living out the Buddhist teachings of compassion. At first, his kindness felt like a calling. Each time he eased someone's suffering, he experienced a deep sense of purpose. The gratitude of those he helped filled him with joy, and he began to believe that his worth was tied to how much he could give to others. Over time, however, Tenzin began to notice subtle changes within himself. He felt tired all the time, and his once steady hands trembled with fatigue. Nights that were once peaceful became restless, filled with thoughts of the people he couldn't help. Despite his growing exhaustion, Tenzin continued to give, convinced that stopping would make him selfish. The breaking point came one evening when he collapsed during a temple gathering. His body, worn thin from years of neglect, had finally reached its limit. An elder monk found him resting against a tree, his eyes heavy with regret. The elder sat beside him and spoke gently. "Tenzin, you are like a flame trying to light every candle in the village. But what happens when your flame burns out?" The elder's words struck a chord deep within Tenzin. For the first time, he realized that his endless giving wasn't sustainable. He had been so focused on helping others that he forgot to care for himself. The elder guided him back to an essential truth of Buddhist philosophy. Compassion must include oneself. Just as a flame cannot light others when it is extinguished, a person cannot give their best to others when they are empty inside. Tenzin's story reflects a universal experience. Many of us take pride in being the person others can rely on, the one who says yes, no matter the cost. Yet, over time, this constant giving takes a toll. It's not just physical exhaustion, it's an emotional and spiritual depletion that leaves us feeling disconnected from our own needs. When giving becomes an obligation rather than a choice, resentment often follows. It's not that we stop caring, it's that we feel trapped in a cycle of endless responsibility. The joy of helping is replaced by frustration, and the light that once guided our acts of kindness begins to dim. This pattern can be traced back to a common misconception that self-care is selfish. Many of us believe that to be truly kind, we must sacrifice ourselves entirely for others. But this belief overlooks a crucial truth. When we neglect ourselves, the quality of our help diminishes. Instead of offering our best, we offer what little is left. Buddhist teachings remind us that selflessness is not the same as self-sacrifice. True compassion is rooted in balance. It recognizes that caring for others and caring for oneself are not opposing forces, but complementary ones. When we nurture our own well-being, we create a foundation from which our kindness can flow freely and sustainably. After his collapse, Tenzin began a slow but profound transformation. The elder monk introduced him to practices that allowed him to care for himself while continuing to serve others. Through meditation, Tenzin reconnected with his inner peace. He learned to set boundaries, recognizing that saying no was not an act of selfishness, but an act of self-preservation. With time, he discovered that these changes didn't diminish his compassion, they amplified it. Caring for oneself doesn't mean abandoning those who need help. It means acknowledging your limits and respecting them. Tenzin began to understand that by tending to his own needs, he could offer more meaningful support to others. He found that the strength of his compassion came not from how much he gave, but from how deeply he cared. This shift allowed Tenzin to rediscover the joy in helping. No longer driven by guilt or obligation, he gave from a place of love and connection. His energy returned, his mind grew clearer, and his acts of kindness became more intentional. What once felt like a burden now felt like a blessing. Tenzin's story offers a powerful reminder for all of us. Whether we're parents, caregivers, friends, or colleagues, the desire to help others is a beautiful part of being human, but it's not a limitless resource. If we fail to care for ourselves, we risk burning out and losing the very qualities that make us capable of helping in the first place. Ask yourself, are you giving from a place of fullness, or are you running on empty? Are you tending your own flame, or are you risking burnout in the name of compassion? These questions are not meant to discourage you from helping others, but to encourage you to help yourself as well. Compassion is most powerful when it flows both ways, outward to others and inward to yourself. By embracing this balance, you not only preserve your energy, but also inspire those around you to do the same. The ripple effect of self-care and compassion can transform not just your life, but the lives of those you touch. The path forward is clear. Nurture your own well-being, honor your limits, and give with intention. In doing so, you ensure that your kindness remains a source of light, not just for others, but for yourself. And in the end, that balance is the greatest gift you can offer the world. The world feels brighter when acts of kindness unfold. A shared smile, a helping hand, or even the smallest gesture of support can spark a warmth deep within. There's a magic in giving that words often fail to capture. It connects us to something profound, an unseen thread binding humanity together. But why does helping others feel so fulfilling, even when it demands time and effort? What is it about compassion that lights up the soul? This journey into the noble pursuit of compassion will unravel the layers of human nature that make kindness such a powerful force. From the roots of Buddhist teachings to the undeniable pull we feel to help others, the answers reveal themselves through wisdom, reflection, and an exploration of the heart. Compassion is a universal language that transcends culture, religion, and circumstance. Deep down, humans are wired to care. Neuroscientists have discovered that acts of kindness activate the brain's reward centers, releasing chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. These are the same feel-good chemicals associated with love, bonding, and joy. This physical response is a testament to how deeply compassion is embedded in our nature. From a Buddhist perspective, this innate desire to help others is not just a biological phenomenon, but a spiritual one. The teachings emphasize interconnectedness, the idea that all living beings are fundamentally linked. In helping others, we are, in a sense, helping ourselves, as we cannot thrive in isolation. When kindness flows, it harmonizes the bonds between individuals, creating a ripple effect of positivity that extends far beyond the initial act. Compassion is more than just a fleeting feeling. It's a practice and a way of life. It requires seeing beyond oneself and recognizing the shared struggles of existence. In Buddhism, this is often referred to as karuna, or the desire to alleviate suffering. Karuna teaches that helping others stems from an understanding of their pain, not pity or superiority. True compassion does not look down. It reaches across, seeking to uplift others as equals. One of the reasons compassion feels so fulfilling is that it aligns us with our higher selves. It allows us to act from a place of love and connection, rather than fear or selfishness. When we give, we tap into the best version of ourselves, the part that is free from ego and driven by empathy. This alignment brings a sense of purpose, a feeling that our actions matter in the greater tapestry of life. In modern society, where individualism often takes center stage, acts of compassion stand out as reminders of our shared humanity. Consider the moments when people come together during times of crisis, natural disasters, community tragedies, or personal hardships. These moments highlight the power of collective kindness. They remind us that we are not alone, and that even in the darkest times, the light of compassion shines through. Compassion also has a transformative effect on those who receive it. For someone in need, an act of kindness can be a lifeline, a spark of hope in a sea of despair. Buddhist teachings encourage practitioners to cultivate metta, or loving kindness, which goes hand in hand with compassion. While compassion seeks to alleviate suffering, loving kindness seeks to bring happiness. Together, they form a powerful duo that can heal wounds, bridge divides, and create lasting connections. At its core, compassion is a choice. It's a decision to act in the interest of another, even when there is no immediate benefit to oneself. This choice can be challenging, especially when life feels overwhelming. Yet, it's in these moments of challenge that compassion reveals its true strength. It teaches resilience, patience, and the ability to see beyond temporary discomfort for the sake of something greater. Buddhism offers practical ways to cultivate compassion, starting with mindfulness. By being present, we become more attuned to the needs of others and less consumed by our own worries. Mindfulness creates a space for empathy to grow, enabling us to respond with care rather than react out of frustration or indifference. Through practices like meditation and reflection, we can train our minds to approach situations with a compassionate heart. Another vital lesson from Buddhist teachings is the importance of intention. Acts of kindness should not be motivated by a desire for recognition or reward. Genuine compassion is selfless. It flows from an inner desire to bring comfort and joy. When we act with pure intentions, the fulfillment we experience is deeper and more enduring because it is rooted in authenticity. The ripple effect of compassion cannot be underestimated. When one person acts kindly, it inspires others to do the same. This chain reaction spreads positivity, creating a network of goodwill that strengthens communities and fosters unity. This interconnectedness is a cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy, which views all beings as part of an intricate web of existence. What affects one affects all, and acts of compassion are a powerful way to nurture this connection. Compassion also requires courage. It means stepping out of your comfort zone, taking risks, and sometimes facing rejection or misunderstanding. But this bravery is part of what makes compassion so rewarding. It's a reminder that even small actions can have profound impacts, and that the willingness to care is itself an act of strength. For those who struggle with feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt, helping others can be a source of healing. Buddhist teachings emphasize that compassion should extend inward as well as outward. Self-compassion is not about indulgence, but about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. When you nurture your own well-being, you create a foundation from which your compassion for others can flourish. One of the profound aspects of compassion is its ability to dissolve barriers. It breaks down the divisions created by race, religion, class, or nationality. In the face of genuine kindness, these labels lose their significance, revealing the shared humanity beneath. This universal quality of compassion is why it is so often at the heart of spiritual and philosophical traditions across cultures. Acts of compassion are not limited to grand gestures. Sometimes, the smallest actions have the most significant impact. A smile to a stranger, a word of encouragement, or a helping hand in a moment of need. These seemingly minor acts carry immense power because they remind us of the goodness that exists in the world. In helping others, we also learn more about ourselves. Compassion deepens our understanding of what it means to be human. It shows us that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a bridge to connection. By acknowledging and addressing the pain of others, we confront our own struggles with greater empathy and wisdom. The journey of compassion is not without challenges. There will be times when it feels thankless, when your efforts go unnoticed or unappreciated. Yet, Buddhism teaches that the value of compassion lies not in the response it receives, but in the act itself. Kindness is its own reward, and the fulfillment it brings cannot be diminished by external circumstances. Compassion also has a profound impact on mental and physical health. Studies have shown that helping others reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and even increases life expectancy. These benefits reflect the holistic nature of compassion, which nurtures not only the recipient, but also the giver. By creating harmony within, compassion extends that harmony outward. At its highest level, compassion becomes a way of being. It is not something you do, but something you embody. This transformation is what Buddhist teachings aspire to cultivate, a state of bodhicitta, or awakened heart, where kindness flows naturally and effortlessly. In this state, compassion is no longer a choice. It is an expression of your truest self. In a world often marked by division and hardship, compassion serves as a reminder of our potential for goodness. It shows us that even amidst the challenges of life, we can choose to be a source of light. This choice, though simple, holds the power to change lives, both others and our own. The pursuit of compassion is noble because it is both deeply human and profoundly spiritual. It connects us to one another, to ourselves, and to something greater than all of us. By embracing this practice, we not only make the world a kinder place, but also discover the boundless joy that comes from living with an open heart. Compassion is a beautiful force, yet it carries a quiet danger when left unchecked. The desire to help, to ease the suffering of others, can push a person to their limits, leaving them drained and empty. The heart that gives freely may, over time, forget to care for itself, and the soul that once shined with kindness may dim under the weight of relentless selflessness. How do we recognize when giving becomes too much? To answer this, we step into the life of Tenzin, a monk whose path of boundless compassion led him to confront the cost of losing balance. Tenzin was known for his kindness long before he donned the robes of a monk. In his village, he was the one people turned to when they needed comfort or guidance, whether it was carrying heavy loads for an elderly neighbor or staying up late to counsel a friend. Tenzin never hesitated to offer his help. The joy of seeing others relieved of their burdens fueled his days, and he believed this was his purpose, to serve without limits. When he joined the monastery, Tenzin's reputation for selflessness grew. He volunteered for every task, from cleaning the meditation hall to fetching water from the river, a chore that required walking miles under the harsh sun. He was the first to greet visitors with warmth and the last to leave the evening prayers. The older monks admired his dedication, and the younger novices looked up to him. Tenzin, in their eyes, was the embodiment of compassion. But within Tenzin, cracks were beginning to form. He rarely spoke of his own struggles, brushing them aside as unimportant compared to the needs of others. When he felt tired, he pushed himself harder, reasoning that rest was a luxury he couldn't afford. When his legs ached from the endless walks to fetch water, he reminded himself that the suffering of others was far greater than his own. Tenzin believed that to be a true monk, he had to transcend his own discomfort, no matter the cost. The toll on Tenzin's body was gradual but unrelenting. His energy waned, and his once vibrant steps grew heavy. At night, his sleep was restless, filled with worries about the tasks left undone and the people he had yet to help. Yet, he ignored these signs, convinced that they were simply tests of his commitment to the path of compassion. The greater toll, however, was on Tenzin's mind. As exhaustion took hold, he began to feel a quiet resentment, not toward the people he helped, but toward himself. Why couldn't he do more? Why did he feel so weak when others seemed so strong? These questions lingered in his thoughts, eroding the joy he once found in service. He began to see his own needs as failures, as obstacles that kept him from being the person he aspired to be. One evening, during a particularly long meditation session, Tenzin felt a sharp pain in his chest. It wasn't physical, but emotional, a deep ache that he couldn't ignore. He opened his eyes, his breath shallow, and for the first time, he allowed himself to confront the truth he had been avoiding. He was tired, not just in his body, but in his soul. His endless giving had left him empty, and the compassion he once offered so freely now felt like a burden he couldn't carry. The elder monk of the monastery noticed Tenzin's struggle and approached him after the session. "You give so much, Tenzin," the elder said, his voice kind but firm. "But do you ever stop to give to yourself?" Tenzin looked at the elder, unsure how to respond. The question felt foreign, almost selfish. "I don't need much," he replied softly. The elder shook his head. "Even the strongest tree needs water, or its roots will wither. You're not limitless, my friend. You are human." The elder's words stayed with Tenzin as he reflected on his journey. He realized that his belief in boundless selflessness had blinded him to an essential truth. Compassion must flow inward as well as outward. By neglecting his own needs, he had not only harmed himself, but had also diminished his ability to help others. His acts of kindness, once fueled by love and joy, had become mechanical, driven by a sense of duty rather than genuine care. Tenzin began to see how his unbalanced selflessness had impacted his relationships. The novices who once admired him now hesitated to approach, sensing his growing weariness. The villagers who sought his help noticed his strained smiles and quiet exhaustion. Even the elder monks, who had once praised his dedication, expressed concern for his well-being. Tenzin realized that his efforts, though well-intentioned, were unsustainable. He could not pour from an empty cup, and his constant giving had left him with nothing to offer. The journey to reclaim balance was not easy for Tenzin. It required him to unlearn the beliefs that had guided him for so long. He began to set boundaries, a concept that felt alien and uncomfortable at first. When asked to take on a task, he paused to consider his own capacity before agreeing. He learned to say no, not out of selfishness, but out of respect for his own limits. Each time he said no, he felt a pang of guilt, but he reminded himself of the elders' words, "You cannot help others if you lose yourself." Tenzin also embraced self-care as a spiritual practice. He allowed himself moments of rest, taking walks by the river, not to fetch water, but to simply enjoy the sound of flowing streams. He rediscovered the joy of meditation, not as a task to check off, but as a space to reconnect with himself. He sought the counsel of the elder monk, who guided him in practices of self-compassion, teaching him to treat himself with the same kindness he offered to others. As Tenzin restored balance to his life, he began to notice subtle but profound changes. His energy returned, and with it, his genuine warmth and joy. The novices once again looked to him as a mentor, not because of his tireless efforts, but because of his newfound wisdom. The villagers too noticed the change. They saw in Tenzin a quiet strength, a light that shone not because he gave endlessly, but because he gave wisely. The greatest transformation, however, was within Tenzin himself. He no longer saw his needs as weaknesses or obstacles. Instead, he recognized them as part of his humanity. He understood that compassion is not about erasing oneself for the sake of others, but about creating a balance where kindness can thrive. He realized that his worth was not measured by how much he gave, but by the sincerity with which he gave it. Tenzin's journey is a testament to the importance of balance in the pursuit of compassion. It shows us that selflessness, when taken to extremes, can lead to self-sacrifice that harms rather than heals. By honoring his own needs, Tenzin discovered a deeper, more sustainable form of kindness, one that enriched both his life and the lives of those around him. The story of Tenzin is not just the tale of a monk. It is a reflection of the struggles many face in their own lives. It reminds us that the path of compassion is not about ignoring ourselves, but about embracing the fullness of our humanity. In finding balance, we can give with an open heart, not out of obligation, but out of love. And in doing so, we can create a world where kindness flows freely, nourished by the wellspring of self-care and understanding. The journey of Tenzin sheds light on the delicate balance required in acts of compassion, but it also reveals a deeper trap many fall into, the illusion that endless giving is a virtue. Saying yes to every request feels noble, even selfless. Yet, over time, this pattern begins to take its toll, leaving those who constantly agree depleted in ways they never anticipated. This isn't just about physical exhaustion. It's a silent erosion of the soul, an unraveling of boundaries that are essential for a healthy, fulfilled life. The habit of always saying yes often stems from a desire to be helpful or liked. People want to feel needed, to be the dependable rock others rely on. In many cultures, this willingness to give unconditionally is celebrated, even rewarded. But beneath the surface lies a dangerous cost. Each yes chips away at the limited reserves of energy and time, often leaving little to nothing for the giver to replenish themselves. One of the most insidious aspects of always saying yes is how it begins to shift priorities. The needs and wants of others gradually take precedence over one's own, creating an imbalance that can be difficult to correct. Work responsibilities bleed into personal time. Social obligations multiply. Even moments of rest are intruded upon by the nagging thought that something more could be done for someone else. This constant state of doing leaves little room for simply being. Emotionally, the weight of perpetual agreement can lead to resentment. It begins subtly, perhaps as a passing thought. Why am I the only one doing this? Over time, this feeling grows, becoming a constant undercurrent that taints relationships and interactions. The person who once found joy in helping others may start to feel trapped, unable to break free from the expectations they've unknowingly set for themselves. Physical exhaustion is another inevitable consequence. The body is not designed to operate without rest or boundaries. Late nights spent accommodating others, skipped meals in favor of fulfilling another task, or missed sleep due to overcommitment eventually catch up. This kind of strain weakens the immune system, disrupts mental clarity, and often leads to chronic fatigue. The very people who seem to have endless energy for others are often the ones silently struggling to keep up. The psychological toll can be even more profound. Constantly saying yes fosters a sense of inadequacy when even the slightest task is left undone. This self-imposed pressure creates a cycle of guilt and overcompensation, where the giver feels they must continually prove their worth through action. This guilt is a quiet but relentless force, whispering that to say no would mean failing those who rely on them. From a Buddhist perspective, this cycle of endless giving is closely tied to attachment and ego. The attachment to being seen as helpful, indispensable, or virtuous becomes a driving force that overrides self-awareness. Ego, in this context, isn't about arrogance, but about the identity built around being the one who always helps. This identity becomes a burden when it leads to suffering, both for the giver and those around them. Saying yes all the time can also hinder others' growth. By constantly stepping in to help, the giver inadvertently robs others of the opportunity to solve their own problems or learn from challenges. Buddhism teaches that suffering is a natural part of life and often a necessary teacher. By always trying to shield others from difficulty, the habitual helper may unknowingly interfere with the lessons that life is trying to offer. There's also a social dimension to this habit. People who always say yes often find themselves surrounded by individuals who take advantage of their generosity. This isn't to say that all requests are made with ill intent, but the absence of boundaries creates an environment where others may unconsciously exploit the giver's willingness. Relationships become transactional, built on expectations rather than mutual respect. Breaking free from the illusion of endless giving requires a fundamental shift in perspective. It begins with understanding that saying no is not an act of rejection, but an act of self-respect. Setting boundaries is a way of honoring one's own needs while still valuing the needs of others. Boundaries don't close doors. They define the spaces where genuine connection and meaningful help can occur. The practice of mindful awareness is a valuable tool in this process. By pausing before responding to a request, one can assess whether the act of saying yes aligns with their current capacity and priorities. This pause allows for a thoughtful response rather than an automatic reaction, creating space for discernment and balance. Another essential practice is self-compassion. Many people who struggle with saying no do so because they fear being perceived as selfish or uncaring. By cultivating self-compassion, one can begin to see that taking care of oneself is not only acceptable but necessary. Self-compassion helps dissolve the guilt associated with setting limits, replacing it with a sense of inner peace and understanding. Learning to say no also involves embracing discomfort. It's not easy to decline requests, especially from those we care about. But this discomfort is often temporary, and it pales in comparison to the long-term exhaustion of overextending oneself. Over time, people who are accustomed to hearing yes will adjust to the boundaries being set. Respect grows when limits are communicated clearly and respectfully. Communication plays a crucial role in this transformation. Saying no doesn't have to be harsh or abrupt. It can be expressed with kindness and clarity, such as, "I'd love to help, but I'm unable to take this on right now." This approach acknowledges the request while honoring one's own limitations. It's a way of maintaining connection without sacrificing personal well-being. Buddhist teachings also remind us of the concept of non-attachment. By letting go of the need to be everything to everyone, one can find freedom from the burden of endless giving. Non-attachment doesn't mean indifference. It means acting with compassion without clinging to outcomes or the validation of others. It's a way of giving that is free from ego and grounded in authenticity. The benefits of breaking free from this habit extend beyond the individual. Relationships become more balanced and genuine when boundaries are in place. The giver is able to offer their help from a place of strength rather than obligation, and the recipient feels the sincerity of the gesture. This mutual respect fosters deeper connections and a sense of trust. On a broader scale, saying no can inspire others to reevaluate their own boundaries. It sets an example of self-respect and balance, encouraging those around to do the same. This ripple effect creates a culture of mindfulness and mutual care, where giving is shared rather than shouldered by a single person. The illusion of endless giving is a trap that many fall into, but it is not inescapable. By embracing the wisdom of boundaries, mindfulness, and self-compassion, one can break free from this cycle and rediscover the joy of helping others. It's a journey of reclaiming balance, one where saying no becomes not a rejection, but a powerful affirmation of one's own humanity and worth. In this balance, compassion finds its truest and most fulfilling expression. The cycle of endless giving reveals its flaws when it becomes unsustainable. But what lies at the heart of this imbalance? The Buddhist teaching of the empty cup offers profound clarity. It reminds us of a universal truth. You cannot pour into others if your own reserves are depleted. This metaphor isn't just about physical energy. It speaks to emotional, mental, and spiritual resources. When the cup is empty, even the most sincere acts of kindness lose their impact. The concept of the empty cup begins with a fundamental question. How can you give your best to others if you've neglected yourself? It's a simple truth, but one that's often forgotten. Many people believe they can power through exhaustion or emotional strain in service to others, but the reality is different. Over time, this neglect leads to diminished capacity, strained relationships, and even resentment. The empty cup is a reminder that self-care is not selfish. It's the foundation of meaningful giving. In Buddhism, the cup represents one's inner resources. These include energy, patience, compassion, and clarity. When the cup is full, there's an overflow that naturally spills into the lives of others. acts of kindness come effortlessly, with joy and authenticity. But when the cup is empty, every action feels like a struggle. The wellspring of compassion dries up, leaving behind fatigue and frustration. It's not that the desire to help fades, but the capacity to do so diminishes. Filling the cup requires intentionality. It's not enough to hope that rest or balance will come naturally. Self-care must be an active, deliberate practice. This doesn't mean extravagant indulgences or avoiding responsibilities. It means nurturing the mind, body, and spirit so that they remain strong and resilient. For some, this might involve meditation or quiet reflection. For others, it could mean connecting with nature, engaging in creative pursuits, or simply taking time to breathe deeply and focus inward. The practice of mindfulness is a cornerstone of keeping the cup full. Mindfulness allows you to recognize when your resources are running low. It encourages you to pause, reflect, and prioritize. Without mindfulness, it's easy to ignore the signs of depletion until the damage is severe. A moment of mindful awareness can prevent the spiral into exhaustion, offering the clarity needed to make choices that support balance. Boundaries play a critical role in maintaining a full cup. They protect your energy and ensure that your giving remains sustainable. Boundaries are not walls. They are guiding lines that define how much you can give without compromising yourself. They help you discern between what aligns with your values and what drains your reserves unnecessarily. In doing so, boundaries create a space where self-care becomes a natural part of daily life. Another essential element of filling the cup is acknowledging your own needs. This can be difficult, especially for those who have internalized the belief that their worth is tied to how much they can give. Recognizing your needs requires vulnerability and honesty. It's about saying, "I matter too," and treating yourself with the same kindness you extend to others. This shift in perspective can be transformative, allowing you to see self-care not as a luxury, but as a necessity. The act of replenishing your inner cup often requires slowing down. In a world that celebrates constant productivity, pausing can feel counterintuitive. But rest is not a sign of weakness, it's a source of strength. Rest allows the body to heal, the mind to clear, and the spirit to rejuvenate. It creates space for reflection and renewal, enabling you to return to your efforts with greater focus and intention. Gratitude is another practice that helps keep the cup full. By focusing on the positive aspects of life, gratitude shifts attention away from stress and negativity. It fosters a sense of abundance, reminding you of the good that exists even in challenging times. This mindset nurtures emotional resilience, making it easier to navigate difficulties without becoming overwhelmed. Community support is also invaluable in this process. Sharing burdens with trusted friends, family, or colleagues lightens the load and creates opportunities for mutual care. In Buddhism, the concept of Sangha, or spiritual community, emphasizes the importance of connection. A supportive community acts as a safety net, catching you when you falter and offering encouragement when your reserves are low. The metaphor of the empty cup extends beyond the individual. It applies to families, communities, and even organizations. When collective resources are depleted, relationships strain, productivity wanes, and the sense of shared purpose erodes. In contrast, when a group prioritizes self-care and mutual support, its strength and capacity for compassion grow exponentially. This collective fullness creates an environment where everyone thrives. The empty cup also serves as a caution against martyrdom. While self-sacrifice may seem noble, it often leads to burnout and resentment. giving from an empty cup benefits no one, as it diminishes both the giver and the recipient. True generosity comes from a place of abundance, where the act of giving enriches both parties. This is why replenishing your inner resources is not only a personal responsibility, but also a gift to those around you. The ripple effect of a full cup cannot be overstated. When you take care of yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Your energy, clarity, and kindness become a model for balanced living. This influence extends far beyond individual interactions, shaping a culture where self-care and compassion coexist harmoniously. In this way, filling your own cup is not a selfish act, but a contribution to the well-being of the larger world. The teachings of the empty cup also remind us of impermanence. Resources are not infinite, and they must be continually replenished. This awareness encourages humility and mindfulness, allowing you to approach life with gratitude and intention. It's a reminder that balance is a dynamic process, one that requires ongoing effort and reflection. In daily life, applying the empty cup metaphor means paying attention to the signals your body and mind send. Fatigue, irritability, and lack of focus are often signs that your cup is running low. Listening to these signals and responding with care prevents long-term damage. It also fosters a deeper connection to yourself, building self-trust and resilience. The practice of filling your cup is deeply personal. What nourishes one person may not resonate with another. The key is to discover what truly restores you and to make it a regular part of your life. This exploration can be a journey of self-discovery, revealing insights about your values, passions, and priorities. As you learn to keep your cup full, the quality of your giving transforms. Acts of kindness flow naturally, unburdened by obligation or exhaustion. Your presence becomes a source of calm and inspiration, radiating a strength that others can draw from. This is the power of self-care. It amplifies your ability to make a positive impact without sacrificing your own well-being. The empty cup is a metaphor with profound implications. It challenges the notion that endless giving is sustainable or virtuous, instead highlighting the importance of balance and self-care. By nurturing your inner resources, you create a foundation from which true compassion can flourish. This practice not only enriches your own life, but also empowers you to uplift others in meaningful and lasting ways. Recognizing the importance of replenishing your own reserves leads naturally to a deeper question. Where does the balance lie between selflessness and self-sacrifice? The two often seem intertwined, but their differences hold the key to understanding how compassion can uplift rather than deplete. While selflessness is rooted in care and connection, self-sacrifice can erode one's sense of self, leaving behind exhaustion and emptiness. To walk this fine line is to embrace kindness without losing yourself in the process. Selflessness is a conscience, an expression of compassion that honors both the needs of others and your own well-being. It arises from empathy and the recognition of shared humanity, fostering a genuine desire to ease suffering without neglecting personal boundaries. In contrast, self-sacrifice often stems from external pressure, guilt, or the mistaken belief that constant giving defines one's value. Over time, self-sacrifice depletes emotional and physical energy, diminishing the quality of care one can provide. The foundation of selflessness lies in intention. Acts of selflessness are driven by the joy of giving, not by obligation or the need for validation. They are authentic and aligned with personal values, creating a sense of fulfillment rather than resentment. When someone chooses to help out of genuine compassion, They give freely and willingly, knowing that their actions contribute to the greater good. Self-sacrifice, on the other hand, often feels forced. It may be accompanied by an inner voice that whispers, "You have to do this, or you're not enough." This compulsion shifts the act from a gift to a burden. Selflessness respects the individual's limits, understanding that no one can give endlessly without consequence. It recognizes that personal health, happiness, and stability are essential to sustaining compassion. Self-sacrifice disregards these limits, pushing people to ignore their own needs for the sake of others. This imbalance can lead to burnout, strained relationships, and a loss of identity, as the giver becomes consumed by the demands of those they serve. Another key difference between selflessness and self-sacrifice lies in the impact on relationships. Acts of selflessness foster mutual respect and appreciation, creating a dynamic where giving and receiving flow naturally. The giver feels valued, and the recipient understands that the act of kindness came from a place of love, not obligation. Self-sacrifice, however, can breed resentment on both sides. The giver may feel unappreciated or taken advantage of, while the recipient may sense the strain and discomfort, undermining the act's intended purpose. Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of balance in compassionate actions. The middle way, a core principle, advocates avoiding extremes, whether of indulgence or denial. Applying this wisdom to selflessness means finding a path that honors both self and others. True compassion, as taught in Buddhism, begins with self-compassion. By nurturing oneself, a person creates the foundation needed to support others effectively and sustainably. In acts of selflessness, there's a focus on presence rather than perfection. The giver recognizes that they cannot solve every problem or meet every need, but they can offer what they have in the moment. This approach avoids the trap of overcommitment, which often accompanies self-sacrifice. By acknowledging their own limitations, selfless individuals maintain their integrity and avoid overextending themselves. Self-sacrifice often arises from deeply ingrained beliefs about worth and identity. Many people equate their value with how much they can give, fearing that saying no will make them appear selfish or unkind. This fear can trap them in a cycle of overgiving, where their sense of self becomes tied to the approval of others. Breaking free from this mindset requires a shift in perspective, understanding that one's worth is inherent and not dependent on how much they do for others. Healthy boundaries are a hallmark of selflessness. They allow individuals to give without losing themselves, creating space for rest, renewal, and personal growth. Boundaries communicate respect for both the giver and the recipient, ensuring that acts of kindness are sustainable. In contrast, self-sacrifice often disregards boundaries, leading to emotional exhaustion and a breakdown of relationships. When boundaries are absent, the giver may feel used or unappreciated, while the recipient may struggle with feelings of guilt or dependency. One of the most profound lessons in distinguishing selflessness from self-sacrifice is understanding the role of choice. Selflessness is an empowered act. It is freely chosen and grounded in a sense of agency. The giver decides when, how, and to whom they will offer their time and energy. Self-sacrifice, however, often feels obligatory. The giver feels they have no choice but to say yes, driven by external pressures or internalized guilt. This lack of choice erodes the joy and authenticity of giving. The physical and emotional toll of self-sacrifice cannot be overlooked. Chronic overgiving can lead to fatigue, stress, and even serious health issues. The body's warning signs, such as tension, insomnia, or frequent illness, are often ignored in the pursuit of meeting others' needs. Over time, this neglect can result in burnout, leaving the giver unable to care for anyone, including themselves. Selflessness, by contrast, promotes balance and well-being. It acknowledges the importance of self-care as a foundation for compassionate action, ensuring that the giver remains healthy and capable. From a spiritual perspective, selflessness aligns with the principle of interdependence. It recognizes that all beings are connected and that caring for oneself contributes to the well-being of the whole. Acts of selflessness are not about martyrdom. They are about participating in the natural flow of giving and receiving. Self-sacrifice, however, disrupts this balance. By prioritizing others at the expense of oneself, the giver creates a dynamic that is unsustainable and ultimately harmful to all involved. One way to cultivate selflessness while avoiding self-sacrifice is through mindfulness. By staying present, individuals can tune into their own needs and the needs of others, making thoughtful decisions about how to give. Mindfulness also helps identify when selflessness begins to tip into self-sacrifice, providing the awareness needed to restore balance. This practice fosters a deeper connection to oneself and to the act of giving, enhancing its authenticity and impact. Another valuable practice is self-reflection. Taking time to assess motivations, intentions, and outcomes can help distinguish between selfless acts and those driven by a sense of obligation. Questions such as, "Am I giving from a place of love or fear?" and "Does this act align with my values and capacity?" can provide clarity and guide decision-making. Self-reflection also builds self-awareness, strengthening the ability to recognize and honor personal limits. Compassionate communication plays a crucial role in navigating the fine line between selflessness and self-sacrifice. Expressing needs, setting boundaries, and saying no with kindness can preserve relationships while protecting one's well-being. Communication rooted in respect and honesty fosters understanding, ensuring that acts of kindness are received in the spirit in which they are given. This approach empowers both the giver and the recipient, creating a dynamic of mutual care and respect. Acts of selflessness often inspire others to give in turn, creating a ripple effect of kindness and connection. This shared flow of giving and receiving enriches relationships and strengthens communities. Self-sacrifice, however, can create an imbalance that disrupts this flow. When one person gives too much, others may feel hesitant to contribute or may come to expect the giver's constant support. This dynamic can strain relationships and lead to a sense of isolation for the giver. Understanding the difference between selflessness and self-sacrifice is not about judging one's actions, but about fostering a healthier, more sustainable approach to compassion. It is a journey of self-discovery, one that requires courage, mindfulness, and a commitment to balance. By embracing selflessness while avoiding the pitfalls of self-sacrifice, individuals can create a life where kindness thrives without compromise. True selflessness uplifts both the giver and the recipient, creating a cycle of care that sustains and enriches all involved. It is an expression of love and connection, grounded in the understanding that caring for oneself is not separate from caring for others. It is an essential part of it. In this way, selflessness becomes not only a gift to others, but a profound act of self-respect and integrity. Understanding the distinction between selflessness and self-sacrifice brings clarity to how compassion can flourish. Yet beneath the surface of even the most well-meaning actions, there can exist a hidden root of suffering: attachment. When the desire to help becomes entangled with attachment, the act of giving loses its purity and can transform into a source of pain. Buddhism teaches that attachment to being a helper, rather than helping itself, is a subtle but profound trap that many fall into without realizing it. Attachment in this context is not about caring too much. It's about the expectations and identity we create around our acts of kindness. When helping others becomes tied to a need for validation, recognition, or a sense of worth, the focus shifts away from genuine compassion. Instead of giving freely, one begins to give conditionally, often without being fully aware of it. This attachment creates a cycle of dependency, where the helper's sense of self becomes reliant on the approval or gratitude of others. At its core, attachment arises from a misunderstanding of impermanence. In Buddhist philosophy, all things are transient, including the outcomes of our actions. When someone becomes attached to the results of their efforts, they set themselves up for disappointment. For example, if a person helps a friend in need but feels hurt when their efforts are not acknowledged, it reveals an underlying expectation that their kindness should be rewarded. This expectation is a form of attachment, and it is a source of suffering because it places one's happiness in something beyond their control. Attachment to the identity of being a helper can also lead to an inflated sense of responsibility. The belief that one must always be available, always solve problems, or always meet the needs of others creates an unbearable weight. This burden is self-imposed, fueled by the fear of failing to live up to the image one has constructed. Over time, this constant pressure can lead to exhaustion, resentment, and a sense of inadequacy when the demands become too great. Buddhism teaches that attachment often masquerades as love or compassion, but the two are fundamentally different. Genuine compassion is selfless and unconditional. It seeks to alleviate suffering without seeking anything in return. Attachment, however, is conditional. It clings to outcomes, reciprocation, or the roles we assign ourselves and others. This distinction is crucial because it reveals why attachment can never truly bring peace, even when it seems tied to noble intentions. Another way attachment manifests is through the desire for control. When helping others, it's natural to want to see positive results. However, when this desire becomes an expectation, it turns into attachment. The helper may feel frustrated or disheartened if their efforts don't lead to the desired outcome, or if the person they're helping makes choices they don't agree with. This frustration stems from the attachment to controlling the situation rather than accepting it for what it is. The act of helping can also become a means of avoiding one's own struggles. By focusing on others, it's possible to distract from personal pain, fears, or insecurities. While helping others can indeed be healing, using it as an escape creates a dependency that ultimately leads to suffering. The attachment to being a helper becomes a way to avoid introspection, but this avoidance only delays the inner work that is necessary for true growth and peace. Recognizing attachment in helping others requires deep self-awareness. It begins with questioning motives. Are you helping because you genuinely want to, or because you feel you have to? Are you giving freely, or are you seeking something in return, even if it's just a sense of validation? These questions are not meant to diminish the value of kindness, but to ensure that it remains rooted in authenticity. Letting go of attachment doesn't mean becoming indifferent or withdrawing from acts of kindness. On the contrary, it allows compassion to flow more freely, without the weight of expectations or the need to control outcomes. The act of helping becomes purer and more fulfilling. It shifts from being a transaction to a gift, given with an open heart and no strings attached. Buddhist teachings emphasize the practice of equanimity as a way to overcome attachment. Equanimity is the ability to remain calm and balanced, regardless of external circumstances. In the context of helping others, it means offering kindness without clinging to how it is received or what it achieves. Equanimity frees the helper from the emotional highs and lows that come with attachment, creating a sense of inner stability and peace. Detachment also involves embracing impermanence. By understanding that all things are temporary, one can let go of the need to control or cling to specific outcomes. This doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means acting with intention while accepting that the results are not entirely in one's hands. This perspective fosters a sense of freedom, allowing the helper to focus on the present moment rather than becoming entangled in worries about the future. Another important aspect of releasing attachment is practicing self-compassion. Many people who struggle with attachment to helping others are harsh on themselves, feeling that they must always do more or be better. Self-compassion helps to break this cycle by fostering a sense of self-worth that is not dependent on external validation. When one learns to value themselves unconditionally, the need to seek worth through helping others diminishes. The ripple effects of letting go of attachment are profound. Relationships become healthier as the giver no longer imposes unspoken expectations on those they help. Acts of kindness become more impactful because they're given freely, without the subtle undercurrent of obligation. Most importantly, the helper experiences a greater sense of peace and fulfillment, as their sense of self is no longer tied to external factors. Breaking free from attachment requires ongoing mindfulness and reflection. It's not a one-time effort, but a continuous practice of observing thoughts, emotions, and actions. By staying present and aware, it becomes easier to recognize when attachment begins to creep in and to gently redirect intentions back to genuine compassion. This journey also involves cultivating gratitude. By focusing on the joy of giving itself rather than on the outcomes or responses, one can shift their perspective. Gratitude transforms the act of helping into a celebration of connection and humanity, rather than a means of achieving something. This mindset fosters a sense of abundance, replacing the scarcity mindset that often fuels attachment. Ultimately, the role of attachment in helping others reveals the delicate balance between caring deeply and clinging tightly. Buddhism teaches that true freedom comes not from abandoning compassion, but from purifying it. By letting go of attachment, the act of helping becomes a reflection of one's inner peace, not a source of suffering. It is in this freedom that compassion finds its truest expression, uplifting both the giver and those they seek to serve. Letting go of attachment allows kindness to flow freely, but even pure compassion requires structure to thrive. Without boundaries, even the most well-intentioned acts of helping can become overwhelming, draining the energy and joy that fuel them. Boundaries are not walls to separate you from others. They are bridges that balance your needs with the needs of those you serve. They are essential for preserving your well-being, while ensuring that your kindness remains meaningful and sustainable. The absence of boundaries often stems from a fear of disappointing others. Many people equate saying no with rejection or failure, believing they must always be available to prove their care. This mindset, though rooted in good intentions, creates a cycle of exhaustion and resentment. Boundaries, on the other hand, communicate respect, not only for yourself, but also for those you wish to help. They ensure that when you say yes, It is a genuine, wholehearted commitment rather than a reluctant obligation. Boundaries begin with self-awareness. Recognizing your limits requires an honest assessment of your emotional, physical, and mental capacity. This is not about focusing on weaknesses, but about understanding the balance needed to maintain your well-being. Without this clarity, it's easy to overcommit, leaving little energy for yourself or for the people who matter most. Self-awareness helps you identify when to step forward and when to step back, allowing you to offer support without depleting your own resources. Setting boundaries involves clear and compassionate communication. It's about expressing your needs in a way that others can understand and respect. This might mean saying, "I'd love to help, but I can't take this on right now," or "I need some time to recharge before I can be fully present." These statements are not selfish, they are acts of self-respect that preserve your ability to give meaningfully. By being honest about your capacity, you create a foundation of trust and mutual understanding. One of the most powerful aspects of boundaries is their ability to foster mutual empowerment. When you set boundaries, you encourage others to take responsibility for their own growth and challenges. This is particularly important in relationships where one person tends to take on more than their share of the emotional or physical labor. Boundaries create space for others to step up, fostering a sense of independence and resilience that benefits everyone involved. Boundaries also protect your time and energy, which are finite resources. Without them, it's easy to become overextended, juggling too many responsibilities at once. This constant state of busyness can lead to burnout, leaving you unable to care for yourself or others. Boundaries act as a filter, helping you prioritize what truly matters and let go of distractions that drain your energy. They allow you to focus on the commitments that align with your values and bring you fulfillment. Buddhist teachings offer profound insights into the importance of boundaries. The concept of the middle way emphasizes balance, not giving too much or too little, but finding the path that sustains harmony. Boundaries are a practical expression of this principle. They help you navigate the fine line between selflessness and self-sacrifice, ensuring that your actions are guided by wisdom rather than impulse or guilt. Boundaries are also essential for maintaining emotional resilience. When you give without limits, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the challenges and emotions of those you're helping. This emotional weight can cloud your perspective, making it difficult to offer effective support. Boundaries create a healthy separation that allows you to remain compassionate without absorbing the struggles of others. They enable you to provide guidance and care while maintaining your own emotional stability. Learning to set boundaries requires practice and patience. It's not always easy to say no, especially when faced with someone in need. But each time you assert your limits, you strengthen your ability to honor them. This process builds confidence, helping you recognize that setting boundaries is not about being unkind. It's about being responsible. It ensures that your kindness is sustainable and that you remain true to yourself. Boundaries are not static. They evolve as your circumstances and relationships change. What works in one phase of life may need adjustment in another. This adaptability is crucial as it allows you to respond to new challenges without compromising your well-being. By regularly reflecting on your boundaries, you can ensure that they continue to serve your needs and the needs of those around you. Another benefit of boundaries is the clarity they bring to relationships. When expectations are clear, misunderstandings and frustrations are minimized. This transparency strengthens trust and fosters healthier connections, as both parties feel respected and valued. Boundaries create a foundation for open communication, allowing relationships to grow in a way that honors the individuality of everyone involved. Boundaries are not just about saying no, they are about creating space for meaningful yeses. By setting limits, you free yourself from unnecessary obligations, allowing you to focus on the commitments that align with your values and passions. This intentional approach to giving enhances the quality of your actions, making them more impactful and rewarding. It transforms helping others from a draining task into a joyful expression of compassion. In the absence of boundaries, it's easy to fall into patterns of overgiving. This can lead to a sense of martyrdom, where one's worth becomes tied to how much they sacrifice. Boundaries break this cycle by reinforcing the idea that your value is not dependent on how much you do for others. They remind you that self-care and compassion are not opposing forces, but complementary ones, both essential for a fulfilling life. Boundaries also protect your physical health. Overcommitting can lead to chronic stress, fatigue, and other health issues that diminish your ability to give. By setting limits, you create a buffer that allows your body to rest and recover. This not only benefits you, but also ensures that you can continue to support others in a way that is sustainable and effective. From a spiritual perspective, boundaries are a way of honoring the interconnectedness of all beings. They acknowledge that while we are deeply connected, we are also individuals with unique needs and responsibilities. Boundaries create a balance that respects this duality, allowing compassion to flow freely without becoming overwhelming. They enable you to give from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, enriching both your life and the lives of those you touch. The process of setting boundaries can also inspire others to do the same. When you model healthy limits, you encourage those around you to reflect on their own habits and relationships. This ripple effect creates a culture of mutual respect and care, where everyone feels empowered to honor their needs without fear of judgment. It fosters an environment where kindness is shared rather than demanded, strengthening the bonds of community. Ultimately, boundaries are an act of love, not only for yourself, but also for those you care about. They ensure that your giving remains authentic and joyful, free from the resentment or exhaustion that often accompanies overextension. By recognizing your limits and honoring them, you create a space where compassion can thrive, enriching your life and the lives of others in profound and lasting ways. Setting boundaries preserves balance and sustains compassion, yet what happens when those limits are ignored or overlooked? The cost of overextending oneself often remains invisible until it becomes unbearable. The physical, emotional, and spiritual toll of giving too much isn't immediate, but it accumulates, leaving deep scars that can take years to heal. Tenzin's journey serves as a profound reminder of the quiet danger that comes with disregarding one's well-being for the sake of endless giving. Tenzin's story began with good intentions, as most do. His commitment to serving others was born out of genuine compassion, but over time, the weight of his self-imposed obligations began to show. His days grew longer, his rest shorter, and the joy he once felt from helping others faded into exhaustion. What was once fulfilling became draining, as the energy he poured into others left him with nothing to sustain himself. Physically, the effects of overextending oneself manifest in ways that are often dismissed as minor inconveniences: fatigue, headaches, a lingering cold that never seems to go away. For Tenzin, these symptoms were easy to ignore in the beginning. He believed his purpose outweighed his discomfort. But as the months turned into years, his body began to send louder signals. His energy plummeted, his immune system weakened, and the physical strain of constant activity left him feeling perpetually worn out. The body, when neglected, always finds a way to demand attention, often through illness or chronic fatigue. Emotional exhaustion followed closely behind. The mental strain of constantly being available for others took a toll on Tenzin's ability to manage his own feelings. He became irritable, even resentful, though he struggled to admit it. These emotions conflicted with the image he had of himself as a compassionate and selfless person, leading to guilt and self-doubt. This internal conflict created a cycle where Tenzin pushed himself harder, hoping to silence the guilt, only to deepen his exhaustion. The spiritual toll of overextending oneself is perhaps the most insidious. For Tenzin, his spiritual practice became a chore rather than a source of renewal. The connection he once felt to his purpose and faith was replaced by a sense of obligation. His meditation sessions, once a refuge, felt like another task to complete. The light of his compassion, once so bright, dimmed under the weight of his unrelenting schedule. One of the greatest challenges of overextension is how it distorts relationships. Tenzin's relationships with the other monks and the villagers he served began to suffer. His exhaustion made him less patient and more withdrawn. The warmth and attentiveness that once defined his interactions were replaced by a sense of distance. People noticed, but few understood the depth of his struggle. Overextending oneself often creates an illusion of strength, making it difficult for others to see when help is needed. The mind, too, bears the burden of overextending. For Tenzin, sleepless nights were filled with racing thoughts, worries about unfinished tasks, fears of letting others down, and the nagging sense that he wasn't doing enough. This mental overload eroded his focus and clarity, making it harder to approach challenges with the calm and wisdom he once possessed. The mind, like the body, requires rest to function at its best, and without it, even the simplest decisions become daunting. Overextension also has a ripple effect on self-esteem. For someone like Tenzin, who tied his sense of worth to how much he could give, reaching his limits felt like failure. This perception deepened his sense of inadequacy, pushing him further into a cycle of overwork and self-criticism. When self-worth is linked to external validation, the constant need to prove oneself becomes a source of relentless pressure. The toll on the body, mind, and spirit is often compounded by the absence of self-care. Tenzin rarely took time for himself, believing it to be selfish. This mindset is common among those who overextend themselves. They prioritize the needs of others to the detriment of their own, not realizing that neglecting self-care ultimately diminishes their ability to help. Rest, reflection, and moments of joy are not luxuries. They are necessities that replenish the energy needed to give meaningfully. Tenzin's journey also highlights the societal pressures that contribute to overextension. In many cultures, self-sacrifice is celebrated as a virtue, while rest and boundaries are seen as weaknesses. These pressures can make it difficult to recognize when enough is enough. For Tenzin, the praise he received for his dedication only reinforced his belief that he needed to do more. This external validation became a double-edged sword, motivating him while simultaneously draining him. The long-term consequences of overextension can be devastating. Chronic stress, burnout, and a loss of connection to one's purpose are just a few of the challenges that arise. For Tenzin, the turning point came when his body could no longer keep up. A serious illness forced him to step back and confront the reality of his situation. This moment of crisis, though painful, became an opportunity for transformation. Recognizing the toll of overextension is the first step toward healing. For Tenzin, this meant acknowledging his limits and redefining his relationship with service. He began to see that helping others did not require sacrificing himself. By setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and reconnecting with his spiritual practice, he was able to restore his sense of balance. This shift not only improved his well-being, but also deepened the quality of his compassion. Tenzin's story is a reminder that overextension is not sustainable. The desire to give is noble, but it must be guided by wisdom and self-awareness. The physical, emotional, and spiritual costs of ignoring one's limits are too great to ignore. By embracing balance, it is possible to serve others without losing oneself in the process. Healing from overextension requires more than rest. It involves a fundamental shift in mindset. For Tenzin, this meant letting go of the belief that his worth was tied to how much he could do for others. He learned to value himself not for his actions, but for his being. This change allowed him to give from a place of abundance rather than depletion, transforming his approach to service. The lessons from Tenzin's journey are universal. They remind us that the most effective way to help others is to first take care of ourselves. The body, mind, and spirit are interconnected, and neglecting one affects all. By honoring our limits, we can create a foundation of strength and resilience that allows compassion to flourish. Overextending oneself is a path that many tread, often without realizing it. Tenzin's story offers a powerful reminder of the importance of balance, self-care, and self-awareness. It shows that compassion is not about how much you can do, but about how you choose to give. By recognizing the toll of excessive giving and making intentional changes, it is possible to serve others while preserving your own well-being. This balance is not a compromise. It is the key to sustaining kindness in a way that enriches both the giver and those they seek to help. The weight of overextension teaches an essential truth. Not every call for help can or should be answered. In the journey to maintain balance and preserve one's well-being, there comes a time when saying no is not only necessary, but deeply compassionate. Refusing to help when your resources are drained or the situation demands more than you can give is an act of kindness, both to yourself and to others. It protects your energy for the moments that truly matter, ensuring that your assistance is meaningful and genuine. Saying no is often misunderstood as selfish or unkind. Many people associate it with rejection, fearing it might harm relationships or disappoint others. However, when viewed through a lens of mindfulness and wisdom, no becomes a tool for clarity and integrity. It allows you to honor your limits, prioritize your commitments, and offer your best self when you do choose to help. By refusing what you cannot handle, you create space to focus on what you can, ensuring that your actions are purposeful and impactful. The act of saying no begins with recognizing that your time and energy are finite. Every yes carries a cost, whether it's time away from loved ones, diminished focus on personal goals, or a toll on your physical and mental health. Without boundaries, even the most well-meaning person can become overwhelmed, unable to provide the quality of care or attention that others deserve. By acknowledging your limitations, you take the first step toward making choices that align with your values and capacity. Refusing to help at certain times also respects the autonomy and growth of others. Constantly stepping in to solve problems or meet needs can create a dependency that hinders the development of resilience and self-reliance in those you aim to support. By saying no, You give others the opportunity to explore their own strength, creativity, and problem-solving abilities. This is not abandonment. It is empowerment, a way of fostering independence while preserving your own energy for situations where your help is truly needed. Saying no can also prevent resentment. When you agree to something out of obligation rather than genuine willingness, it's easy for frustration to build over time. This frustration, though often unspoken, can strain relationships and diminish the joy of giving. A thoughtful no, delivered with kindness and honesty, can prevent such tension, maintaining the integrity of your connections and ensuring that when you do say yes, it comes from a place of sincerity. The wisdom of no is deeply connected to the practice of self-care. Refusing to take on more than you can handle is an act of self-respect that allows you to replenish your inner resources. This self-care is not indulgent, it is essential. Without it, your ability to serve others diminishes, as does your capacity to navigate life's challenges with clarity and resilience. Saying no creates the space you need to rest, reflect, and renew, enabling you to return to your commitments with a sense of purpose and vitality. Mindfulness plays a key role in discerning when to say no. By staying present and attuned to your feelings and energy levels, you can recognize when a request aligns with your abilities and when it does not. This awareness allows you to make decisions that honor both yourself and the person making the request. A mindful no is not reactive or defensive. It is calm, clear, and compassionate, acknowledging the other person's needs while remaining true to your own. The courage to say no often comes from understanding that you cannot control how others perceive your choices. It is natural to worry about disappointing people or being misunderstood, but this fear should not dictate your actions. Your responsibility is to act with integrity, not to manage others' reactions. Over time, those who value and respect you will come to appreciate your honesty and the care you take in preserving your well-being. Saying no can also serve as a model for others. When you set boundaries and prioritize self-care, you inspire those around you to do the same. This ripple effect creates a culture of mutual respect and understanding where everyone feels empowered to honor their limits without guilt or shame. In this way, the wisdom of no extends beyond the individual, fostering healthier relationships and communities. The practice of saying no requires self-compassion. It is easy to second-guess your decisions or feel guilty for not meeting every request. However, self-compassion reminds you that you are human, with limits and needs that deserve attention. Treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you offer to others reinforces the importance of balance and helps you navigate the complexities of setting boundaries. There's a profound simplicity in the act of saying no. It is a way of aligning your actions with your values, ensuring that your time and energy are spent on what truly matters. This clarity not only benefits you but also enhances the quality of your contributions. When you say yes after thoughtfully considering your capacity, your commitment carries greater weight and authenticity, making your support more meaningful. Saying no can be an act of love. It protects you from burnout and resentment, preserving your ability to give freely and joyfully. It also respects the autonomy of others, allowing them to face their challenges and grow in the process. This balance creates a dynamic where kindness is shared rather than shouldered, enriching both the giver and the recipient. The wisdom of no lies in its ability to create space for rest, reflection, and the intentional use of your energy. It is not about turning away from others, but about ensuring that when you do step forward, you do so with strength and clarity. By embracing this wisdom, you honor your own needs while remaining deeply connected to the needs of those around you. Saying no is a skill that deepens with practice. Each time you assert your boundaries, you strengthen your ability to navigate life with authenticity and purpose. This practice builds resilience, allowing you to face challenges without becoming overwhelmed. It also fosters a sense of inner peace as you learn to trust your instincts and prioritize what truly matters. Ultimately, the wisdom of no is a gift, not only to yourself, but to those you care for. It ensures that your compassion remains vibrant and sustainable, a wellspring of kindness that enriches every aspect of your life. In saying no, when necessary, you affirm the value of your time, energy, and presence, creating a foundation from which true generosity can flourish. The wisdom of saying no teaches the profound importance of protecting your own energy. But what happens next? Where does that preserved energy go, and how can it be used to nurture yourself and others more deeply? In Buddhism, self-care is seen not as an indulgence, but as a necessary foundation for meaningful action. The principle is clear. Tending your own garden ensures that you have the strength, clarity, and compassion to make a lasting impact on the world around you. Neglect this inner cultivation, and even the most well-intentioned efforts risk falling short. Self-care begins with the recognition that you too are deserving of kindness and attention. Many people find it easier to care for others than themselves, often viewing their own needs as secondary or unimportant. This mindset, though well-meaning, can lead to burnout and disconnection. The Buddhist approach emphasizes that self-care is not separate from helping others. It is integral to it. When you care for yourself, you are not only preserving your own well-being, but also strengthening your ability to serve others effectively. The act of tending your own garden requires mindfulness. In this practice, you learn to observe your thoughts, feelings, and physical state without judgment. Mindfulness creates a space of awareness, helping you recognize when you need rest, nourishment, or connection. Without this awareness, it is easy to push through exhaustion or ignore signs of stress, believing that there is no time to pause. Mindfulness reminds you that caring for yourself is not a delay or distraction. It is part of the journey. In the Buddhist tradition, self-care is deeply connected to the concept of balance. Just as a garden requires the right amount of water, sunlight, and nutrients to thrive, so too does your mind and body require balance to function at their best. This means paying attention to your diet, sleep, and movement, as well as cultivating practices that nourish your spirit, such as meditation or creative expression. Neglecting any one of these areas can disrupt the harmony needed for overall well-being. Self-care also involves setting aside time for solitude and reflection. In the busyness of daily life, moments of quiet are often sacrificed for productivity or social obligations. Yet these moments are essential for reconnecting with your inner self and gaining clarity. In solitude, you can assess your priorities, let go of external pressures, and realign with your values. This practice allows you to approach life with greater focus and intention, enhancing both your personal and professional relationships. A key aspect of self-care is learning to let go of guilt. Many people struggle with the idea that taking time for themselves is selfish, especially when there are others who need help. Buddhism teaches that guilt is a form of attachment, a clinging to expectations or judgments that no longer serve you. Letting go of this guilt frees you to care for yourself without hesitation, understanding that doing so benefits everyone around you. A well-tended garden does not just flourish for its own sake. It provides beauty, nourishment, and inspiration to others. The practice of self-compassion is central to the Buddhist approach to self-care. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a dear friend. This means acknowledging your imperfections without harsh criticism, forgiving yourself for mistakes, and recognizing your inherent worth. Self-compassion creates a foundation of inner peace, making it easier to weather challenges and maintain resilience. Tending your own garden also means protecting it from external influences that drain your energy or disrupt your peace. This might involve setting boundaries with people who demand too much of your time, limiting exposure to negative environments, or choosing activities that align with your values. Protecting your inner space is not about shutting others out, but about creating an environment where you can grow and thrive. It is an act of self-respect that strengthens your ability to engage meaningfully with the world. The Buddhist principle of impermanence also plays a role in self-care. By acknowledging that everything is temporary, both joy and suffering, you can approach self-care with a sense of balance and perspective. Impermanence reminds you to cherish the present moment, to find joy in small acts of care, and to release the pressures of perfection. It encourages you to focus on the process rather than the outcome, trusting that consistent effort will yield growth over time. Self-care is not a one-size-fits-all practice. Just as every garden has unique needs, so too does every individual require a personalized approach to well-being. For some, self-care might involve physical activity or creative expression. For others, it could mean connecting with nature, spending time with loved ones, or pursuing a passion. The key is to explore what truly nourishes you and to make it a regular part of your life. This exploration is an act of self-discovery, revealing insights about your preferences, strengths, and desires. Another important aspect of self-care is gratitude. By focusing on what you have rather than what you lack, gratitude shifts your perspective and fosters a sense of abundance. It helps you appreciate the small joys in life, from a moment of quiet to a kind word from a friend. Gratitude nurtures the spirit, creating a foundation of contentment that supports resilience and growth. Community can also play a vital role in self-care. While solitude is essential for reflection, connection with others provides support and encouragement. In Buddhism, the concept of Sangha, or spiritual community, highlights the importance of surrounding yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. A supportive community acts as a mirror, reflecting your strengths and reminding you of your worth. It also provides a sense of belonging, which is essential for emotional well-being. Tending your own garden requires patience. Growth does not happen overnight, and there will be setbacks along the way. Just as a gardener must weed, water, and prune consistently, self-care requires ongoing effort and attention. This patience cultivates a sense of resilience, allowing you to face challenges with grace and determination. It reminds you that progress is not always linear, but that each step contributes to your overall well-being. The benefits of self-care extend far beyond the individual. When you tend your own garden, you create a ripple effect that touches everyone around you. Your energy, clarity, and compassion become a source of inspiration and support for others. By modeling self-care, you encourage those in your life to prioritize their well-being, fostering a culture of mutual respect and care. Self-care is an act of empowerment. It reminds you that you have the ability to shape your own well-being, to create a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. This empowerment fosters a sense of agency, helping you navigate life's challenges with confidence and purpose. It is a reminder that while you cannot control everything, you can choose how to respond and where to direct your energy. The Buddhist approach to self-care is not about withdrawing from the world, but about engaging with it more fully. By tending your own garden, you create the foundation for meaningful action, ensuring that your efforts to help others come from a place of strength and authenticity. This balance allows you to serve with joy rather than obligation, to give without depleting yourself, and to make a lasting impact on the lives you touch. In tending your own garden, you cultivate not only your own well-being, but also a sense of harmony and connection with the world around you. It is a practice of love and respect, one that honors your needs while enriching your ability to care for others. This is not selfishness, it is wisdom, a recognition that true compassion begins within. By embracing this practice, you create a life that is vibrant, balanced, and deeply fulfilling. A testament to the power of self-care in all its forms. Caring for yourself is not an isolated act. It extends beyond your own well-being, creating a quiet yet powerful ripple that influences the lives of others. The balance you cultivate within yourself has the potential to inspire, to teach, and to lead by example. This is not about overtly instructing others, but about embodying a life of harmony and showing how self-care transforms not only your actions, but your relationships. The ripple effect of balance is one of the most profound gifts you can give to the world. When you prioritize self-care, you send an unspoken message to those around you. Your well-being matters. This is not just a declaration of your worth, but an invitation for others to view their own needs in the same light. In a culture that often glorifies sacrifice and overwork, the act of taking care of yourself can feel revolutionary. It challenges the norm and encourages others to rethink the way they live, work, and relate to their own boundaries. Balance begins with small, deliberate actions, taking time to rest when needed, saying no to overcommitments, and seeking joy in the present moment. These choices, though personal, are observed by those closest to you. Family, friends, colleagues, and even casual acquaintances notice the calm confidence that comes from prioritizing your own well-being. This observation plants seeds of curiosity and reflection, encouraging them to consider whether they, too, could benefit from a similar approach. Leading by example is a powerful form of influence. When others see you setting boundaries with grace, they begin to understand that saying no is not a rejection, but a way of preserving energy for what truly matters. Your ability to maintain balance demonstrates that self-care and compassion are not opposing forces, but complementary ones. This insight can be transformative, especially for those who struggle with the idea that their worth is tied to how much they give to others. The ripple effect of balance extends to relationships. When you care for yourself, you bring your best self to your interactions with others. Your patience increases, your communication improves, and your presence becomes more meaningful. These changes strengthen connections, creating an environment where mutual respect and understanding flourish. By valuing your own needs, you encourage those around you to do the same, fostering relationships built on equality and reciprocity. One of the most profound impacts of prioritizing self-care is the way it reshapes the dynamics within families. Parents who practice self-care model healthy behaviors for their children, teaching them the importance of balance from an early age. Children who grow up seeing their caregivers honor their own needs are more likely to develop self-respect and emotional intelligence. This legacy of balance becomes a foundation that supports their growth and resilience throughout life. In friendships and partnerships, the ripple effect of balance creates space for open communication and mutual support. When you express your boundaries and take time for self-renewal, you encourage others to do the same. This mutual respect enhances the quality of your relationships, as both parties feel seen, heard, and valued. It shifts the focus from constant giving to shared growth, creating a dynamic where everyone thrives. The workplace, too, benefits from the ripple effect of balance. Colleagues who witness you prioritizing self-care may feel empowered to set their own boundaries, leading to a healthier and more productive environment. By demonstrating that it is possible to excel without overextending yourself, you challenge the culture of burnout and encourage a more sustainable approach to work. This shift not only improves individual well-being, but also enhances teamwork and collaboration. The impact of self-care extends beyond personal connections to the broader community. When you prioritize your own well-being, you become a source of inspiration for those who may feel trapped in cycles of exhaustion or self-neglect. Your actions show that change is possible, that it is never too late to begin tending to one's own needs. This quiet encouragement can spark a collective movement toward balance, creating a ripple effect that touches countless lives. The ripple effect is amplified through authenticity. When your commitment to self-care is genuine, it resonates deeply with others. This authenticity is not about perfection, but about showing that balance is a continuous journey, one that requires effort, reflection, and resilience. By sharing your experiences, the challenges, the lessons, and the victories, you offer others a roadmap for their own path to well-being. Prioritizing self-care also fosters empathy and compassion. When you take the time to care for yourself, you develop a deeper understanding of the importance of rest, renewal, and self-respect. This understanding extends to others, enhancing your ability to support them in their own journeys. The ripple effect of balance, then, is not only about inspiring others, but also about creating a culture of care and connection. The Buddhist principle of interdependence underscores the importance of the ripple effect. It reminds us that our actions, no matter how small, influence the world around us. By cultivating balance within yourself, you contribute to the well-being of the larger whole. This interconnectedness creates a sense of shared responsibility, encouraging everyone to care for themselves and each other in meaningful ways. The ripple effect is not limited to those who know you personally. Acts of self-care, though seemingly private, can inspire change on a broader scale. Whether through conversations, social media, or community involvement, your commitment to balance can reach people you may never meet, planting seeds of reflection and growth in unexpected places. Skeptics may question the impact of individual self-care on systemic issues, but the ripple effect of balance demonstrates that personal actions can lead to collective change. By modeling a life of harmony, you challenge the status quo and create opportunities for dialogue and transformation. This is not about solving every problem, but about contributing to a shift in perspective that values well-being as a cornerstone of a thriving society. The ripple effect of balance is also deeply personal. As you prioritize self-care, you begin to notice changes within yourself, greater clarity, increased energy, and a renewed sense of purpose. These changes enhance your ability to engage with the world in meaningful ways, creating a feedback loop that reinforces the importance of balance. This self-sustaining cycle is a testament to the power of tending your own garden, not just for yourself, but for everyone you encounter. Ultimately, The ripple effect of balance is a reminder that self-care is not an isolated act, but a gift that extends far beyond yourself. By prioritizing your well-being, you inspire others to do the same, creating a world where compassion, respect, and harmony can flourish. This is not a solitary journey, but a shared endeavor, one that begins with you and radiates outward in ways that are both profound and enduring. As the ripple effect of balance inspires others, it also serves as a protective measure against one of the greatest risks of compassion, losing yourself in the process of helping others. There is an undeniable beauty in acts of kindness, but when those acts come at the expense of your identity, passions, and well-being, the price becomes too high. Tenzin's journey offers a vivid example of how selflessness, when unchecked, can blur the boundaries of the self, leading to exhaustion and a loss of purpose. The key lies in understanding how to give without losing who you are. Dedicating yourself to others is often seen as noble, and while it can be, there is a subtle danger in letting your role as a helper consume your sense of self. For Tenzin, the more he immersed himself in the needs of others, the more he neglected his own desires and identity. He began to see himself solely as a servant to those around him, forgetting the unique qualities and passions that had once brought him joy. This erasure of self is a slow process, often unnoticed until the emptiness becomes overwhelming. Losing oneself while helping others often starts with good intentions. The desire to be useful, to alleviate suffering, or to bring comfort is deeply human. However, when this desire is paired with a lack of boundaries, it can lead to over-identification with the role of a helper. Tenzin found himself saying yes to every request, not because he wanted to, but because he felt he had to. Over time, his own needs and preferences faded into the background, replaced by the expectations of others. The loss of self is not just about neglecting personal interests. It is about forgetting who you are beyond the roles you play. For Tenzin, the joy he once felt in his spiritual practice and personal growth was replaced by a constant sense of obligation. His identity became tied to his ability to serve, leaving no room for exploration, creativity, or rest. This narrowing of the self can lead to a sense of being trapped, as if there is no way to step back without letting others down. One of the dangers of losing yourself in helping others is the impact it has on your emotional well-being. Tenzin's growing exhaustion made it difficult for him to connect with his own feelings. He began to suppress his frustration, sadness, and even joy, believing that his emotions were secondary to the needs of those he served. This disconnection created a void within him, a space where his authentic self once thrived. The physical toll of losing oneself in helping others cannot be overlooked. For Tenzin, the constant demands left him fatigued, both mentally and physically. His body, once strong and capable, began to feel the strain of overwork. Sleepless nights, skipped meals, and the absence of self-care took their toll, leaving him vulnerable to illness and burnout. The body and mind are deeply interconnected, and neglecting one inevitably affects the other. Relationships also suffer when you lose yourself in helping others. Tenzin's interactions with his fellow monks became strained as he struggled to balance their needs with his own. The lack of boundaries created misunderstandings and resentment, both from himself and those around him. When one person gives too much, it can create an imbalance that strains even the strongest connections. The loss of self, while helping others, often stems from a misunderstanding of what it means to be compassionate. Compassion is not about sacrificing your identity. It is about bringing your whole self to the act of giving. Tenzin's struggle highlights the importance of authenticity and compassion. True kindness comes from a place of inner strength and clarity, not from a sense of obligation or self-erasure. Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of self-awareness in maintaining balance. By understanding your motivations, limits, and needs, you can offer help without losing yourself. Tenzin's turning point came when he began to reflect on why he felt compelled to say yes to everything. This introspection revealed the fears and insecurities that had driven his overcommitment. Recognizing these patterns allowed him to begin reclaiming his sense of self. Reconnecting with your identity requires courage and patience. For Tenzin, this meant rediscovering the activities and practices that brought him joy. He began to carve out time for meditation, creative expression, and moments of stillness. These small acts of self-care helped him reconnect with the parts of himself that had been overshadowed by his role as a helper. Reclaiming his identity did not diminish his compassion, it enhanced it, allowing him to give from a place of authenticity and balance. Another important step in avoiding the loss of self is embracing imperfection. Tenzin had long believed that he needed to meet every need and solve every problem to be worthy of respect. This belief created an impossible standard that left him feeling inadequate, no matter how much he did. By accepting that he could not do everything, Tenzin freed himself from the pressure to be perfect. This acceptance allowed him to focus on what he could do, rather than being consumed by what he could not. The practice of mindfulness played a pivotal role in Tenzin's journey. By staying present, he was able to recognize when he was pushing himself too hard or neglecting his own needs. Mindfulness helped him create a space between his thoughts and actions, allowing him to make choices that honored both himself and those he wished to help. This practice of presence is essential for anyone seeking to maintain their sense of self while serving others. Building a strong sense of self does not mean withdrawing from helping others. It means finding a balance that allows you to thrive. Tenzin's journey showed that by prioritizing his own well-being, he became a more effective and compassionate helper. His renewed energy and clarity allowed him to engage with others in a way that was both meaningful and sustainable. Self-respect is another key element in avoiding the loss of self. Tenzin learned to value his time, energy, and identity as much as he valued those of others. This shift in perspective allowed him to set boundaries and prioritize his needs without guilt. Self-respect is not about putting yourself above others. It is about recognizing that your well-being is equally important. The process of reclaiming oneself after losing identity to helping others is deeply transformative. It requires a willingness to confront fears, redefine priorities, and embrace vulnerability. For Tenzin, this journey was not easy, but it was essential. By reconnecting with his true self, he discovered a new depth of compassion, one that was rooted in authenticity and balance. Tenzin's story is a reminder that losing oneself is not inevitable. With awareness, intention, and self-care, it is possible to help others without sacrificing your identity. This balance allows you to bring your full self to the act of giving, creating a ripple effect of kindness and connection that enriches everyone involved. By honoring your own needs, you not only preserve your well-being, but also inspire others to do the same, fostering a culture of compassion that is both sustainable and transformative. Reclaiming yourself from the overwhelming demands of others brings clarity, but how do you ensure you never lose that balance again? The answer lies in learning to listen, truly listen, to the subtle signals your body and mind send every day. These signals are your compass, guiding you toward a life that honors your limits and sustains your well-being. Ignoring them, however, can lead to exhaustion, frustration, and a sense of being lost. Recognizing when you're doing too much is an act of self-respect, and it is the first step toward maintaining a life of harmony and purpose. The body has a language of its own, and it speaks loudly when it needs care. Physical fatigue is often the first and clearest warning sign that you're overextending yourself. You may feel a heaviness in your limbs, an inability to focus, or a general sense of being drained even after a full night's sleep. This persistent tiredness is not laziness. It is your body's way of pleading for rest and renewal. Ignoring it only deepens the strain, making recovery more difficult. Sleep disruptions are another critical signal that you're pushing too hard. Difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up feeling unrefreshed are all indicators that your body and mind are struggling to cope with the demands placed on them. These disruptions often stem from an overactive mind, racing with unfinished tasks, worries, and responsibilities. Sleep is essential for healing and restoration, and neglecting it creates a vicious cycle of exhaustion and stress. Physical tension is another clue that you may be doing too much. Tight shoulders, clenched jaws, and headaches often indicate that your body is holding on to stress. This tension may seem minor at first, but over time, it can lead to chronic pain and other health issues. Learning to notice and release this tension is a vital part of listening to your body. Your mind also has its ways of signaling when enough is enough. Emotional overwhelm is a powerful indicator that you're taking on more than you can handle. Feelings of irritability, sadness, or anxiety may arise seemingly out of nowhere, but they are often rooted in unmet needs and unacknowledged stress. These emotions are not weaknesses. They are your mind's way of calling for attention and care. Another mental sign of overextension is difficulty concentrating. When your plate is too full, your brain struggles to keep up, making it hard to focus on even the simplest tasks. This lack of clarity can lead to mistakes, frustration, and a sense of inadequacy, further compounding the stress. Recognizing when your mind is stretched too thin is essential for reclaiming your focus and effectiveness. Feeling disconnected from yourself and others is another warning sign. When you're doing too much, it's easy to lose touch with your own needs, desires, and emotions. This disconnection can leave you feeling numb or detached, as if you're going through the motions without truly engaging with life. It can also strain relationships, as you may become less present and attentive to the people you care about. Burnout, a state of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion, is the ultimate consequence of ignoring these warning signs. Burnout doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, often unnoticed, until it becomes debilitating. Recognizing the early signs of burnout, such as chronic fatigue, cynicism, and a sense of hopelessness, is critical for preventing it from taking hold. Learning to listen to your body and mind requires mindfulness. By paying attention to your physical sensations, emotions, and thoughts, you can catch these signals before they become overwhelming. This awareness allows you to take proactive steps to care for yourself, whether that means resting, seeking support, or adjusting your commitments. Mindfulness is not about eliminating stress, but about responding to it with intention and compassion. The practice of checking in with yourself regularly can help you stay attuned to your needs. Taking a few moments each day to ask yourself how you're feeling physically, emotionally, and mentally can reveal patterns and areas that need attention. This practice doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as pausing during your day to notice your breath, your posture, or your mood. Setting boundaries is another essential aspect of listening to your body and mind. By saying no to tasks and responsibilities that exceed your capacity, you create space for rest and renewal. Boundaries protect your energy and help you prioritize what truly matters, ensuring that your time and efforts are aligned with your values. Self-care practices, such as regular exercise, healthy eating, and sufficient sleep, also play a crucial role in maintaining balance. These practices nourish your body and mind, building resilience against the demands of daily life. They are not luxuries, they are necessities that support your ability to thrive. Seeking support when needed is another vital part of caring for yourself. Whether it's talking to a trusted friend, seeking professional guidance, or leaning on your community, reaching out for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Support provides perspective, encouragement, and practical assistance, helping you navigate challenges with greater ease. Compassion toward yourself is key. When you notice signs that you're doing too much, it's easy to fall into self-criticism, believing that you should be able to handle more. But self-compassion reminds you that everyone has limits, and that honoring those limits is an act of wisdom, not failure. Treating yourself with kindness creates a foundation of self-respect that strengthens your ability to listen and respond to your needs. Listening to your body and mind is not a one-time act. It's a lifelong practice. It requires patience, curiosity, and a willingness to adjust as your circumstances change. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, helping you maintain balance and prevent the cycle of overextension and burnout. By learning to recognize the signs that you're doing too much, you empower yourself to take control of your well-being. This awareness allows you to live with greater intention, resilience, and joy, ensuring that your efforts to help others come from a place of strength and authenticity. Listening to your body and mind is not just about avoiding exhaustion. It's about creating a life that honors and nurtures the whole of who you are. Recognizing the signs of overextension within your body and mind reveals an essential truth. Even the kindest among us cannot give endlessly without rest. There is a pervasive belief that true kindness requires constant availability and limitless strength. But this myth is not only harmful, it is unsustainable. To embrace kindness fully, one must also embrace rest as an integral part of a compassionate life. Rest is not weakness. It is the foundation upon which enduring strength is built. The idea that endless giving defines kindness often stems from societal expectations and cultural norms. From a young age, many are taught that selflessness means putting others first at all times, even to the detriment of their own well-being. This belief can become so deeply ingrained that the need for rest feels like failure or selfishness. Yet, this perception overlooks a simple fact. A person who is drained, fatigued, or unwell cannot provide the depth of care or connection that true kindness requires. Rest is not a retreat from kindness, but a vital element of it. Just as a tree cannot bear fruit without the nourishment of sun and water, a person cannot sustain acts of compassion without replenishing their energy. Rest restores the body, calms the mind, and renews the spirit, allowing you to give from a place of abundance rather than depletion. Without it, even the most genuine efforts to help others become strained, mechanical, or hollow. The human body is designed with natural rhythms that signal when rest is needed. These rhythms, often referred to as the circadian cycle, govern sleep, energy levels, and overall functioning. Ignoring these cues disrupts the body's balance, leading to fatigue, illness, and diminished mental clarity. Rest is not merely a luxury, it is a biological necessity that supports every aspect of well-being. The mind, too, requires rest to function at its best. Constant activity and mental engagement can lead to burnout, a state of emotional and cognitive exhaustion that makes it difficult to think clearly, make decisions, or engage meaningfully with others. Rest provides the space for reflection and renewal, fostering creativity, problem-solving, and emotional resilience. Without it, the mind becomes overwhelmed, unable to process or prioritize effectively. Rest is also essential for maintaining emotional balance. When you are well rested, you are better equipped to manage stress, navigate challenges, and respond to others with patience and empathy. Fatigue, on the other hand, often amplifies negative emotions, making it harder to remain calm or compassionate. By prioritizing rest, you create a foundation of emotional stability that enhances your ability to connect with others authentically. One of the greatest misconceptions about rest is that it is unproductive. In reality, rest is one of the most productive things you can do. It allows the body to heal, the mind to recharge, and the spirit to realign with its purpose. Rest is not idleness. It is preparation. It equips you with the energy, focus, and strength needed to engage fully with life and its demands. Rest also fosters self-awareness. In moments of stillness, you can tune into your thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations, gaining insight into what you need to thrive. This awareness helps you make choices that honor your well-being and align with your values. It is in these moments of rest that clarity emerges, guiding you toward decisions that support both yourself and others. The need for rest is not a sign of weakness, but of humanity. Every person, no matter how strong or kind, has limits. Acknowledging these limits is an act of wisdom and humility, a recognition that you are not a machine, but a living being with needs and vulnerabilities. Rest is a way of honoring these truths, of caring for yourself so that you can continue to care for others. Rest also enhances the quality of your kindness. When you are rested, you are more present, attentive, and engaged. Your acts of compassion become more thoughtful and impactful, reflecting the depth of your care rather than the exhaustion of obligation. This shift transforms kindness from a draining task into a joyful expression of connection and love. In Buddhist philosophy, rest is viewed as an essential part of balance. The concept of the middle way emphasizes moderation and harmony, rejecting extremes in favor of sustainable practices. Rest embodies this principle, providing the balance needed to maintain both physical vitality and emotional equilibrium. It is a reminder that kindness to oneself is as important as kindness to others. The need for rest extends to every aspect of life, whether it is physical rest through sleep, mental rest through mindfulness, or emotional rest through moments of solitude. Each form of rest contributes to overall well-being. Together, they create a holistic approach to care that supports you in giving your best to the world. Rest is not a pause from compassion. It is its partner. By allowing yourself to rest, you ensure that your kindness remains authentic, vibrant, and enduring. It is a gift to yourself and to those you care for, a way of preserving the integrity and depth of your connection. Rest is not the absence of action, but the presence of intention, a way of cultivating the strength needed to engage with life fully. The myth of endless strength often leads to guilt when rest is needed. This guilt can be deeply ingrained, fueled by societal messages that equate worth with productivity or self-sacrifice. Overcoming this guilt requires a shift in perspective, a recognition that rest is not selfish, but essential. It is an act of self-respect that allows you to give more meaningfully and sustainably. Rest also challenges the idea that kindness must be constant to be genuine. True kindness is not measured by how much you do or how often you give. It is measured by the quality of your actions and the intention behind them. Rest ensures that your kindness is thoughtful, sincere, and impactful, free from the strain of overextension. The practice of rest is deeply personal. What restores one person may differ from what restores another. For some, rest may mean quiet solitude. For others, it may mean engaging in a favorite hobby, spending time in nature, or connecting with loved ones. The key is to explore what nourishes you and to make it a regular part of your life. Rest is not one size fits all. It is a practice of self-discovery and care. Rest also fosters gratitude. In moments of rest, you can reflect on the beauty and abundance of life, appreciating the simple joys that often go unnoticed in the busyness of daily routines. This gratitude enriches your perspective, creating a sense of contentment and peace that carries into your interactions with others. By embracing rest, you challenge the myth of endless strength and redefine what it means to be kind. Rest is not a weakness to overcome, but a strength to cultivate. It is a way of honoring your humanity, preserving your energy, and ensuring that your acts of compassion are rooted in authenticity and balance. Rest is the foundation upon which true kindness is built. It sustains your ability to give, strengthens your resilience, and enriches your connection to yourself and others. By prioritizing rest, you break free from the myth of endless strength and embrace the profound truth that even the kindest among us need to pause, to breathe, and to renew. Rest is not the end of kindness, it is its beginning. Rest is not just the absence of activity, but a profound act of self-respect that enables kindness to thrive. Yet, the question remains, how can we navigate the delicate dance of giving to others while honoring our own needs? This is where the middle way, a cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy, offers profound insight. The middle way teaches that neither excess nor deprivation leads to harmony. Balance is the path to true fulfillment. Applying this principle to the interplay of compassion and self-care reveals a way to sustain both without sacrificing one for the other. The middle way arises from the understanding that extremes create suffering. Excessive selflessness can lead to burnout, resentment, and a loss of identity, while excessive self-focus can foster isolation and neglect of meaningful connections. The key lies in avoiding these extremes by cultivating a balance that honors both yourself and the people you care for. This is not an easy task, but it is a necessary one if compassion is to remain authentic and sustainable. Finding balance requires self-awareness. By paying attention to your feelings, energy levels, and boundaries, you can discern when you are giving too much or too little. The middle way encourages mindfulness, the practice of being present and attuned to your inner and outer worlds. This awareness acts as a guide, helping you navigate the complexities of relationships and responsibilities with clarity and intention. Compassion, at its core, is about connection. The middle way reminds us that this connection must include ourselves. Genuine compassion is not about martyrdom. It is about showing up fully for others, while also showing up fully for yourself. When you neglect your needs, your ability to give becomes strained and conditional. Conversely, when you honor your needs, your compassion flows naturally and freely. The middle way also emphasizes the importance of flexibility. Life is dynamic, and balance is not a fixed state, but an ongoing process of adjustment. There will be times when you need to lean more heavily into self-care, and times when the needs of others take precedence. The wisdom of the middle way lies in recognizing these shifts and responding with grace rather than rigid adherence to a single approach. Boundaries are a crucial element of finding balance. They act as the framework within which compassion can thrive. Boundaries are not walls to keep others out, but structures that protect your energy and ensure that your giving remains sustainable. Setting boundaries requires courage and clarity, as well as the understanding that saying no to some things is a way of saying yes to what truly matters. The middle way also teaches that balance is deeply personal. What works for one person may not work for another. Your path to balance will depend on your unique circumstances, values, and capacities. This individuality is not a limitation, but a strength, allowing you to create a life that aligns with your deepest truths. The practice of balance is not about comparison, but about self-discovery. Incorporating rest and renewal into your life is an essential part of the middle way. These practices are not indulgences, but necessities that allow you to sustain your efforts and maintain your well-being. Rest is the pause that refreshes, giving you the energy and clarity to engage with life fully. Without it, even the most well-intentioned acts of compassion can become draining and unsustainable. The middle way also calls for discernment. Not every act of kindness is equally meaningful, and not every opportunity to help should be taken. By being discerning, you can focus your efforts where they will have the greatest impact, both for others and for yourself. This discernment requires self-awareness, wisdom, and the ability to say no when necessary. Balance extends to the way you view yourself and others. The middle way encourages you to see yourself as neither more nor less important than those around you. This perspective fosters equality and mutual respect, creating relationships that are supportive and empowering rather than one-sided. It also helps you avoid the trap of over-identifying with the role of a helper, which can lead to a loss of self. The middle way also highlights the interconnectedness of all things. Your well-being is not separate from the well-being of others. It is deeply intertwined. When you care for yourself, you are better able to care for others. This interdependence is not a burden, but a gift, a reminder that balance benefits everyone involved. Practicing the middle way requires letting go of perfectionism. Balance is not about getting everything right, but about finding harmony within the imperfections of life. This acceptance of imperfection creates space for growth, resilience, and joy. It allows you to approach challenges with curiosity rather than judgment, making the journey of balance more fulfilling. The middle way also encourages gratitude. By focusing on what you have rather than what you lack, gratitude helps you find contentment and peace in the present moment. This sense of abundance creates a foundation for balance, allowing you to give and receive with an open heart. Gratitude is not just an emotion, but a practice that enriches every aspect of your life. The path of the middle way is not without challenges. It requires constant reflection, adjustment, and effort. Yet, these challenges are also opportunities for growth and transformation. Each step on the path deepens your understanding of yourself and your connection to the world. The journey itself becomes a source of fulfillment, teaching you that balance is not a destination, but a way of being. Applying the middle way to your life is an act of compassion for yourself and for those you care about. It is a way of ensuring that your kindness is sustainable, your connections are meaningful, and your well-being is preserved. By embracing this principle, you create a life of harmony and purpose, one that honors both the giver and the receiver in every act of compassion. The middle way is not a compromise, but a fulfillment of your highest potential. It allows you to give without depleting yourself, to care without losing yourself, and to live with integrity and joy. This balance is the essence of true kindness, a kindness that flows from a place of abundance and authenticity. By finding this balance, you embody the wisdom of the middle way and bring its profound teachings to life. Understanding the balance of giving and receiving leads naturally to a profound truth. Not everything offered should be accepted. In Buddhist philosophy, certain gifts can be traps, entangling the mind, fostering attachments, or disrupting the harmony of one's life. These gifts, though seemingly generous, often carry hidden costs that can weigh heavily on your spirit, your relationships, and even your path to prosperity. True wealth, both material and spiritual, lies in discerning which gifts align with your values and which should be left behind. Gifts, in their essence, are symbols of generosity and connection. But not all come from pure intentions, and not all are free of obligations. Some gifts are cloaked in expectations, binding the receiver to unspoken agreements or debts. Accepting such gifts often leads to a subtle erosion of freedom. The Buddha taught that one must be mindful of what is taken into one's life, as every choice creates ripples that shape the future. One type of gift to avoid is anything given with strings attached. These are the offerings that come with hidden expectations, favors to be returned, loyalty to be proven, or control to be exerted. When you accept such a gift, you may find yourself trapped in an unspoken contract, bound by the weight of someone else's intentions. Freedom, both emotional and financial, begins with recognizing and declining such offerings. Another harmful gift is one given out of guilt or manipulation. These gifts are not true acts of generosity, but tools to influence your emotions or decisions. They often leave you feeling obligated, even if you didn't ask for them. Accepting these gifts can create a dynamic where your sense of agency is diminished, as you may feel pressured to repay the giver in ways that do not serve your well-being or goals. Excessive or unnecessary gifts can also become burdens. While receiving something lavish may initially bring joy, it can often lead to feelings of unease or imbalance. The Buddha emphasized simplicity and mindfulness in life. When a gift disrupts this balance, requiring maintenance, creating envy, or leading to attachment, it becomes more of a burden than a blessing. True richness comes from contentment, not accumulation. Material gifts that encourage unhealthy habits or dependencies are another category to be wary of. These gifts might appear as harmless indulgences, but over time they can foster cravings, attachments, or harmful behaviors. Whether it's excessive luxury or items that feed addiction, such gifts pull you away from the middle way, the balanced path of mindful living. The intention behind a gift is as important as the gift itself. A present offered with resentment, pity, or superiority carries a negative energy that can subtly affect the receiver. Accepting gifts born of negative intentions can create an atmosphere of tension and unease. By being mindful of the giver's state of mind, you can protect your peace and preserve relationships built on mutual respect. Culturally, rejecting gifts is often seen as impolite, but Buddhism teaches that gracious refusal, when done with mindfulness and gratitude, is an act of self-respect. Declining a gift does not diminish the giver's generosity. Instead, It preserves your autonomy and ensures that what you accept aligns with your values. It is not about rejection, but about discernment, a way of honoring both yourself and the giver. Gifts that undermine your principles or values should never be accepted. These are the offers that require compromising your integrity or going against your beliefs. Whether it's a favor that conflicts with your ethics or a material item that disrupts your spiritual practice, such gifts are not worth the cost. Staying true to yourself is the greatest form of wealth, far surpassing any material gain. Accepting gifts that overshadow your independence can also be harmful. Financial or material gifts that create dependence on another person often lead to a loss of control over your own decisions and life path. True abundance comes from self-reliance, not from being tethered to the generosity of others. By declining such gifts, you affirm your own capability and resilience. The act of refusing a gift can be empowering. It reminds you that you are in control of what enters your life and that you have the strength to choose what aligns with your purpose. This practice also fosters a sense of inner richness, as you learn to derive fulfillment not from what is given to you, but from what you create and cultivate within yourself. Mindfulness in gift acceptance extends beyond material items to intangible offerings, such as advice, praise, or emotional support. Not all advice is given with your best interests at heart, and not all praise reflects genuine appreciation. Similarly, emotional support that comes with conditions or hidden motives can create unhealthy dynamics. By discerning the true nature of these intangible gifts, you can protect your emotional well-being and maintain clarity in your relationships. The path to wealth in Buddhist teachings is not paved with possessions, but with freedom, balance, and integrity. Every gift you accept has the potential to either enhance or disrupt this path. By practicing mindfulness and discernment, you can ensure that what you welcome into your life supports your journey toward genuine abundance. Generosity, both in giving and receiving, is a cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy. But generosity is not about taking everything offered. It is about engaging in exchanges that are free of attachment, expectations, and harm. Declining certain gifts is not an act of ingratitude, but a way of ensuring that generosity remains a source of joy and connection rather than a cause of imbalance or conflict. In navigating the complex dynamics of gift-giving and receiving, the key lies in clarity. By understanding your own needs, values, and boundaries, you can make choices that honor your well-being while maintaining harmonious relationships. This clarity transforms the act of receiving into a mindful practice, one that enriches your life without compromising your peace or purpose. In essence, the secret to becoming truly rich is not found in the accumulation of gifts, but in the ability to choose wisely, to remain unattached, and to foster balance in every interaction. The gifts you accept and the ones you decline shape your life in profound ways. By approaching each offer with mindfulness and discernment, you create a life that is not only materially sustainable, but spiritually fulfilling, a life rooted in the wisdom of balance and the richness of simplicity. Declining what does not serve you builds resilience. But how do you cultivate a mindset that truly shields you from the chaos of external events? Buddhism offers a profound approach: to act as if nothing burns you. This is not about ignoring pain or pretending challenges do not exist. It is about developing an inner strength so unwavering that no external flame can consume your peace. This teaching carries immense power, unlocking the ability to face life with grace, clarity, and purpose. Acting as if nothing burns you begins with detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means releasing your grip on outcomes and external validation. When you are not tethered to the highs and lows of life, you become free to act from a place of stability. This inner freedom allows you to navigate both joy and suffering without being swept away by their intensity. Detachment is not a denial of emotions, but an acknowledgement of their impermanence, recognizing that they do not define you. Mindfulness is the foundation of this practice. By cultivating awareness of your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations, you learn to respond rather than react. Reacting is impulsive and often driven by fear or anger, while responding is deliberate and grounded in wisdom. Mindfulness creates the space to pause, reflect, and choose your actions consciously, ensuring that no external force dictates your inner state. The power of acting as if nothing burns you lies in its ability to transform challenges into opportunities for growth. Instead of seeing obstacles as threats, you begin to view them as lessons. Each difficulty becomes a chance to deepen your resilience and strengthen your understanding of yourself. This shift in perspective empowers you to face even the most trying circumstances with courage and composure. Embracing this mindset requires trust in yourself and the process of life. Trust does not mean everything will always go as planned, but that you have the strength to handle whatever comes your way. It is a quiet confidence rooted in the understanding that you are more than your circumstances. Trusting yourself allows you to remain calm and centered, even when the world around you feels uncertain. Equanimity is a key component of this teaching. Equanimity is the ability to maintain mental and emotional balance in the face of change. It is a state of profound stability that comes from accepting life as it is, without clinging to what feels good or resisting what feels bad. This acceptance does not mean passivity. It means engaging with life fully while remaining unshaken by its fluctuations. Equanimity is the essence of acting as if nothing burns you, offering a sense of calm in the midst of life's storms. Compassion is another essential aspect of this practice. Acting as if nothing burns you does not mean distancing yourself from others or becoming cold. On the contrary, it allows you to connect with others more deeply, as your own stability creates a safe space for them to express themselves. Compassion flows naturally when you are not consumed by your own struggles, enabling you to offer support and kindness from a place of abundance. Patience is integral to developing this mindset. The ability to act as if nothing burns you does not come overnight. It is cultivated through consistent practice and effort. Patience with yourself and the process is essential, as setbacks and challenges are inevitable. Each moment of struggle is an opportunity to strengthen your resolve and reaffirm your commitment to inner peace. This teaching also emphasizes the importance of perspective. When you act as if nothing burns you, you begin to see life's events in context, recognizing that no single moment defines your entire existence. This broader perspective helps you let go of the need to control every detail and instead focus on what truly matters. Perspective is the lens through which you view life, and shifting it can transform even the most painful experiences into sources of wisdom. Gratitude plays a vital role in this practice. By focusing on what you have rather than what you lack, gratitude shifts your attention away from problems and toward possibilities. It helps you see the beauty in the present moment, even amid difficulty. Gratitude is not about ignoring pain, but about finding joy and meaning in the small, often overlooked aspects of life. The practice of acting as if nothing burns you is not about suppressing emotions, but about understanding them. Emotions are not enemies to be defeated, but messages to be understood. By acknowledging your feelings without letting them control you, you develop a deeper connection with yourself. This self-awareness is the foundation of true strength, enabling you to act from a place of authenticity and balance. Boundaries are crucial to sustaining this mindset. Protecting your peace requires saying no to what drains or diminishes you. Boundaries are not barriers. They are expressions of self-respect that allow you to engage with life on your terms. Setting and maintaining boundaries ensures that your energy is directed toward what aligns with your values and purpose. The wisdom of this teaching extends to relationships. Acting as if nothing burns you allows you to navigate conflicts and misunderstandings with grace. Instead of reacting defensively, you approach interactions with curiosity and empathy, seeking to understand rather than dominate. This approach fosters deeper connections and mutual respect, creating relationships that are both supportive and empowering. This practice also encourages self-compassion. Acting as if nothing burns you does not mean being immune to pain, but treating yourself with kindness when pain arises. Self-compassion is the acknowledgement that you're human, deserving of care and understanding, even in your moments of struggle. It is the gentle voice that reminds you that your worth is not diminished by your challenges. Discipline is necessary to embody this teaching fully. It requires a commitment to staying present, even when the temptation to escape or react is strong. Discipline is not about rigidity, but about consistency, showing up for yourself day after day with intention and purpose. This steadfastness builds the inner strength needed to remain unshaken by external events. Acting as if nothing burns you is a form of liberation. It frees you from the need for approval, the fear of failure, and the weight of comparison. This freedom allows you to live authentically, guided by your values rather than external pressures. It is not about detachment from life, but about engaging with it fully, from a place of inner stability. The power of this practice lies in its simplicity. It is not about grand gestures or dramatic changes, but about small, consistent choices that cultivate resilience and peace. Each moment is an opportunity to reaffirm your commitment to this way of being, to act with intention and clarity, and to trust in your own strength. This teaching is not about perfection, but about progress. Acting as if nothing burns you is a journey, one that requires patience, effort, and self-compassion. Each step along the path deepens your understanding of yourself and your connection to the world, creating a life that is not only resilient, but profoundly fulfilling. The practice of acting as if nothing burns you aligns with the profound wisdom of Buddhism, rooted in the understanding of life's impermanence and the cultivation of inner peace. To further explore this path, one must delve into the foundation of Buddhist philosophy, the Four Noble Truths. These truths do not merely provide answers, but illuminate the nature of existence and guide a way to liberation. Their simplicity conceals a depth of insight that can transform how we perceive and engage with the world. This teaching offers a roadmap to understanding suffering, its origins, and the freedom that lies beyond. The first noble truth reveals a fundamental aspect of life. Suffering exists. This truth is not a pessimistic view of existence, but an honest acknowledgement of its realities. Suffering manifests in various forms: physical pain, emotional turmoil, unfulfilled desires, and the inevitable transitions of life, such as aging and loss. Recognizing this truth is the first step toward addressing it. Avoiding or denying suffering only amplifies its effects, whereas facing it with clarity opens the door to understanding. Suffering, as described in the First Noble Truth, is not limited to dramatic events. It includes the subtle dissatisfaction that arises from clinging, craving, or resisting change. Even moments of happiness are tinged with the fear of their impermanence. This truth invites a shift in perspective, encouraging us to see suffering not as something to fear, but as an integral part of the human experience that can be approached with wisdom and compassion. The Second Noble Truth identifies the origin of suffering: attachment and craving. This craving stems from a deep-seated desire for things to be other than they are. Whether it is the pursuit of pleasure, the avoidance of pain, or the clinging to identity and status, craving fuels the cycle of dissatisfaction. Understanding this truth requires introspection, as it is often difficult to recognize the ways in which our own attachments contribute to our struggles. Craving is not inherently wrong, but becomes problematic when it blinds us to the present moment and creates a sense of lack. The Second Noble Truth invites us to examine our desires with honesty and to question whether they truly bring fulfillment. It is not about renouncing all desires, but about cultivating discernment, distinguishing between what nourishes the soul and what perpetuates suffering. The Third Noble Truth offers hope. Suffering can end. This cessation, known as nirvana, is not an escape from life, but a liberation from the chains of craving and attachment. It is a state of profound peace and clarity, where the mind is no longer dominated by fear, anger, or longing. This truth demonstrates that freedom is not found in changing external circumstances, but in transforming our relationship with them. Achieving the cessation of suffering does not mean the absence of challenges, but the ability to face them without being overwhelmed. The Third Noble Truth shows that by letting go of clinging, we can experience life fully, embracing both its joys and sorrows with equanimity. It is a reminder that peace is always within reach, waiting to be discovered through the practice of mindfulness and self-awareness. The Fourth Noble Truth outlines the path to this liberation, the Noble Eightfold Path. This path is a practical guide to living with integrity, mindfulness, and wisdom. It encompasses every aspect of life, from how we think and act to how we cultivate inner peace. The path is not a rigid set of rules, but a flexible framework that adapts to the needs and circumstances of each individual. Right view, the first step on the path, encourages us to see life clearly and to understand the nature of suffering and its origins. This perspective fosters compassion as it reveals the shared struggles of all beings. Right. Intention builds on this understanding, guiding us to cultivate motivations rooted in kindness, generosity, and the desire for liberation. Right speech emphasizes the power of words to heal or harm. It invites mindfulness in communication, encouraging honesty, kindness, and restraint. By practicing right speech, we create connections based on respect and understanding, reducing conflict and fostering harmony. Right action focuses on ethical conduct, encouraging us to live in ways that do not cause harm to ourselves or others. This step involves acts of generosity, compassion, and integrity, aligning our actions with our values. Right livelihood extends this principle to our professional lives, urging us to choose work that supports rather than undermines well-being. Right effort is about cultivating positive states of mind and letting go of negativity. It requires discipline and perseverance, as well as the ability to recognize and redirect unwholesome thoughts. This effort is not about forcing change, but about nurturing growth with patience and care. Right. Mindfulness emphasizes the importance of presence and awareness. By paying attention to the present moment without judgment, we can observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations with clarity. This practice helps us develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us, breaking free from habitual patterns of reactivity. Right. Concentration, the final step, involves focusing the mind to achieve clarity and inner stillness. Through meditation and other contemplative practices, we can cultivate a state of deep calm and insight, allowing us to engage with life from a place of strength and serenity. The Four Noble Truths are not abstract concepts, but practical teachings that can be applied to every aspect of life. They invite us to live with awareness, to question our assumptions, and to embrace the journey of self-discovery. By integrating these truths into our daily lives, we can find freedom not only from suffering, but also from the illusions that perpetuate it. This teaching is a reminder that liberation is not a distant goal, but a path that unfolds in each moment. Every thought, every action, every breath is an opportunity to align with the truths of existence and to cultivate a life of peace, wisdom, and compassion. The Four Noble Truths are both a foundation and a destination, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and a more harmonious relationship with the world. The Four Noble Truths reveal the path to liberation, but within that path lies an often overlooked foundation: self-love. Buddhism and Zen teach that true peace begins within, and without nurturing compassion for yourself, it is impossible to extend genuine kindness to others. This self-love is not rooted in vanity or selfishness. It is an act of deep understanding and respect for your own humanity. The Buddha's teachings offer timeless wisdom on how to cultivate this essential quality, unlocking a sense of worth and peace that radiates into every aspect of life. Loving oneself starts with recognizing your intrinsic value. The Buddha taught that all beings are inherently worthy simply by existing. This worth is not dependent on accomplishments, possessions, or the approval of others. It is a quiet truth that lies at the core of who you are. Accepting this truth requires letting go of the external measures that often dictate self-worth. When you stop seeking validation outside yourself, you begin to uncover the unshakable confidence that comes from within. Self-love also involves cultivating patience with yourself. Just as you would not rush the growth of a flower, you cannot force yourself to become perfect overnight. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of being present in the journey, embracing each step with kindness and acceptance. Mistakes and setbacks are part of growth, not signs of failure. By treating yourself with the same patience you would extend to a dear friend, you create a space for healing and transformation. Mindfulness is a cornerstone of self-love. By paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment, you develop a deeper understanding of yourself. This awareness helps you identify patterns that no longer serve you, allowing you to make choices that align with your true self. Mindfulness also fosters gratitude for the present moment, shifting your focus from what you lack to what you already have. This shift creates a sense of abundance, nurturing self-acceptance and contentment. Compassion toward yourself is essential. The Buddha taught that compassion begins at home, within your own heart. When you acknowledge your struggles and meet them with understanding rather than criticism, you create an environment where growth can flourish. Self-compassion is not about excusing harmful behavior, but about recognizing that you are human, capable of both brilliance and imperfection. This recognition allows you to approach yourself with gentleness and care rather than harsh judgment. Letting go of self-criticism is another vital aspect of self-love. Negative self-talk often stems from internalized expectations and fears. The Buddha's teachings encourage questioning these thoughts, examining their origins, and whether they truly serve your well-being. By replacing self-criticism with self-encouragement, you shift your inner dialogue from one of limitation to one of possibility. This change empowers you to take risks, explore new opportunities, and embrace your potential. Boundaries are an expression of self-respect. Loving yourself means recognizing your limits and protecting your energy. Buddhism teaches that balance is essential, and setting boundaries is a way of honoring your needs without guilt. By saying no to what drains you and yes to what nourishes you, you create a life that reflects your values and priorities. Boundaries are not barriers, but bridges to a more fulfilling and authentic existence. Practicing forgiveness is a profound act of self-love. The Buddha often spoke of the importance of releasing resentment, not only toward others, but also toward yourself. Holding on to past mistakes or regrets only perpetuates suffering. Forgiveness allows you to let go of the burdens that weigh you down, creating space for renewal and growth. It is a gift you give yourself, freeing you from the chains of the past and opening the door to a brighter future. Nurturing your well-being is an integral part of loving yourself. This includes caring for your body, mind, and spirit through practices that promote health and vitality. Whether it is eating nourishing foods, engaging in physical activity, or taking time for rest and relaxation, these acts of self-care signal to yourself that you are worthy of care and attention. They are not indulgences, but necessities that support your ability to thrive. Gratitude deepens self-love by fostering appreciation for who you are. By focusing on your strengths, talents, and unique qualities, you build a positive relationship with yourself. Gratitude shifts your perspective from self-criticism to self-celebration, highlighting the beauty and potential within you. This practice strengthens your confidence and encourages you to approach life with enthusiasm and optimism. Connection with others enhances self-love by reminding you that you are not alone. The Buddha's teachings emphasize the interconnectedness of all beings, highlighting the importance of community and mutual support. By surrounding yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, you create an environment that nurtures your growth and well-being. These connections provide encouragement and perspective, reinforcing your sense of worth. Reflection is a powerful tool for cultivating self-love. Taking time to pause and examine your life allows you to identify what aligns with your values and what does not. This clarity helps you make choices that honor your true self, creating a life that reflects your authenticity. Reflection also fosters gratitude for the progress you have made and the person you are becoming. Embracing self-love is not about ego or arrogance. It is about honoring the sacredness of your existence. The Buddha taught that love begins within and radiates outward, creating a ripple effect of kindness and connection. When you love yourself, you create a foundation of strength and resilience that supports every aspect of your life. This love is not finite, but grows with practice, enriching both your own life and the lives of those around you. By integrating these teachings into your daily life, you begin to experience the profound transformation that comes from self-love. It is not a destination, but a journey, one that requires patience, mindfulness, and compassion. Each step brings you closer to the truth of who you are, revealing the limitless potential within you. Through self-love, you discover the peace and joy that come from living in alignment with your true self. Embodying the wisdom of Buddhism and Zen, in every moment. The journey to self-love uncovers a profound truth. Healing begins within. As you nurture compassion for yourself, you unlock the potential to address deeper wounds, both physical and emotional. Buddhism offers ancient techniques of self-healing that are not only transformative, but timeless, rooted in the understanding that true wellness is a balance of body, mind, and spirit. These practices guide you toward a state of harmony, helping you release pain, restore energy, and reconnect with your innate resilience. Self-healing starts with the power of breath. In Buddhist practice, the breath is seen as the bridge between the body and the mind. Focusing on the rhythm of your breathing brings clarity and calm, allowing you to reconnect with the present moment. Deep, mindful breathing soothes the nervous system, reducing stress and anxiety. By observing the breath without altering it, you cultivate awareness, letting go of tension and inviting a sense of peace to flow through your body. This simple yet profound practice becomes a sanctuary you can return to in moments of chaos or pain. The act of mindful breathing also enhances physical healing by improving circulation and oxygenation. When the body receives more oxygen, its cells regenerate more efficiently, supporting the natural processes of repair and renewal. This practice is not about controlling the breath, but about honoring it as a source of life and vitality. Through this attention, the connection between your physical state and emotional well-being becomes clearer, and you learn to align them harmoniously. Meditation is another ancient tool for self-healing that Buddhism teaches with great reverence. By sitting in stillness and observing your thoughts without judgment, meditation helps you release the burdens of the mind. Pain, whether physical or emotional, is often amplified by resistance and fear. Meditation creates a space where you can acknowledge pain without becoming overwhelmed by it. This acceptance dissolves the layers of tension and struggle, allowing healing to unfold naturally. In meditation, visualization techniques are particularly powerful for healing. By focusing on images of light, warmth, or soothing energy flowing through your body, you activate your mind's ability to influence your physical state. The mind and body are deeply interconnected, and what you focus on mentally often manifests physically. Visualization strengthens this connection, empowering your mind to support the healing process with intention and clarity. Loving kindness meditation, a cornerstone of Buddhist practice, is another transformative healing technique. This practice involves directing thoughts of compassion and goodwill toward yourself and others. By silently repeating phrases such as "May I be well," "May I be at peace," you cultivate a sense of love and care that transcends boundaries. This energy not only soothes emotional wounds, but also strengthens your immune system and reduces stress hormones, contributing to physical healing. The power of loving kindness lies in its ability to shift your perspective. When you focus on sending love and compassion, you naturally let go of resentment, anger, and fear. These emotions often act as barriers to healing, keeping you trapped in a cycle of pain. Loving kindness breaks this cycle, opening the heart to forgiveness and acceptance. This release creates space for healing to take root, fostering a sense of wholeness and balance. Mindful movement, such as walking, meditation, or yoga, is another profound technique for self-healing. These practices connect the mind and body through deliberate, purposeful actions. Walking meditation involves taking slow, mindful steps, focusing on the sensation of your feet touching the ground. This practice grounds you in the present moment, helping you release mental clutter and physical tension. It is a reminder that healing is not only about rest, but also about movement, gentle intentional actions that restore energy and vitality. Yoga, as integrated into Buddhist traditions, emphasizes harmony between breath and motion. Each movement becomes an act of mindfulness, a way to listen to your body and honor its needs. This practice not only strengthens your physical body, but also balances your energy, helping you release emotional blockages stored within. Mindful movement teaches you to approach your body with respect and gratitude, fostering a deep sense of connection and healing. Dietary mindfulness is another ancient technique rooted in Buddhist teachings. Food is seen not just as sustenance, but as a source of energy and healing. By eating mindfully, you become aware of how food affects your body and emotions. This awareness helps you choose nourishment that supports your well-being, avoiding foods that disrupt your balance. The act of eating slowly and with gratitude transforms meals into opportunities for healing, reinforcing the connection between mind, body, and spirit. Energy healing practices, such as Reiki or Qi Gong, also draw inspiration from Buddhist principles. These techniques focus on balancing the life force energy that flows through the body. When this energy is blocked, it can lead to physical and emotional discomfort. By using techniques that restore its natural flow, you support the body's ability to heal itself. These practices remind you that healing is not about forcing change, but about creating the conditions for balance and harmony to emerge naturally. The role of forgiveness in healing cannot be overstated. Forgiveness, whether of yourself or others, is a profound act of liberation. Holding on to resentment or guilt creates tension and disharmony within the body and mind, obstructing the healing process. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful actions, but releasing the hold they have on you. This release frees your energy, allowing it to be directed toward healing and growth. Buddhism also teaches the importance of connection in self-healing. While healing begins within, it is often supported by the presence of others. Sharing your journey with trusted friends, mentors, or spiritual guides provides encouragement and perspective. Community offers a mirror in which you can see your progress and challenges more clearly, fostering a sense of belonging and mutual support that enhances healing. The practice of gratitude is another powerful technique. By focusing on the aspects of your life that bring you joy and meaning, gratitude shifts your attention away from pain and toward possibility. This shift in focus does not deny the presence of difficulties, but highlights the abundance that exists alongside them. Gratitude fosters resilience, helping you navigate the healing process with grace and hope. Self-healing is not a linear journey, but a dynamic process that requires patience and compassion. Each practice, whether it is mindful breathing, meditation, movement, or connection, offers unique benefits and insights. Together, they create a holistic approach to wellness that addresses not only the symptoms of pain, but also its underlying causes. Through these ancient techniques, you learn to honor your body's wisdom, your mind's clarity, and your spirit's resilience. Healing, as taught in Buddhism, is not just about recovering from illness or injury, but about returning to wholeness. It is a journey of rediscovering the harmony that exists within you and cultivating it with care and intention. By integrating these ancient practices into your daily life, you align with the natural rhythms of healing, unlocking a profound sense of peace and vitality that empowers you to thrive. Healing oneself lays the groundwork for a deeper understanding of the balance needed to sustain compassion and kindness. When the focus shifts to helping others, the challenge becomes clear: how to offer light to those around you without extinguishing your own flame. The key lies in maintaining your inner strength and well-being as you guide, support, and uplift others. This balance is not only essential, but is also the foundation of sustainable compassion. True service to others begins with self-awareness. Knowing your limits, understanding your motivations, and being attuned to your emotions are vital for avoiding burnout. When you lose touch with yourself, the energy you give is no longer pure or sustainable. It may become tinged with resentment, fatigue, or obligation. Maintaining awareness ensures that your acts of kindness come from a place of abundance, not depletion. Boundaries are crucial in preserving your well-being while helping others. They allow you to give without losing yourself in the process. Boundaries are not selfish. They are an act of respect for yourself and those you assist. By defining what you can and cannot offer, you ensure that your contributions remain authentic and meaningful. Boundaries also teach others to respect your energy, fostering relationships built on mutual understanding and care. Compassion is most powerful when it's accompanied by wisdom. Offering support to others without considering their true needs can lead to dependency or misalignment. Wisdom enables you to discern when to step in and when to step back, allowing others the space to grow and find their own strength. This balance between action and restraint ensures that your light guides rather than overwhelms. Maintaining your inner flame requires regular practices of self-care. This care is not indulgence, but necessity. It includes nurturing your physical health, resting your mind, and feeding your spirit with activities that bring joy and renewal. Self-care ensures that you remain vibrant and capable, allowing your contributions to others to be consistent and impactful. Neglecting your own needs only diminishes your ability to serve. Resilience is a cornerstone of sustainable compassion. Life's challenges will inevitably test your strength, and without resilience, these trials can dim your inner light. Building resilience involves embracing both successes and failures as part of the journey. It is the ability to adapt, learn, and continue forward with a steady heart. Resilience not only preserves your own well-being, but also inspires others to cultivate their own inner strength. Reflection deepens your understanding of your role in helping others. Taking time to pause and assess your actions, motivations, and impact allows you to align your efforts with your values. Reflection fosters growth, ensuring that your support remains purposeful and that you stay connected to your inner flame. It also offers the opportunity to celebrate progress and learn from challenges, enriching your journey of service. Empathy is a powerful tool, but it must be balanced with self-preservation. Absorbing the pain of others without boundaries can lead to emotional exhaustion. Practicing compassionate detachment allows you to remain empathetic without being consumed by the suffering you witness. This approach ensures that you can offer meaningful support while protecting your own mental and emotional health. Connection with others provides a source of strength and renewal. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift and inspire you reinforces your own resilience. These relationships act as a network of support, reminding you that you're not alone in your efforts. Connection also fosters a sense of community, amplifying the positive impact of your actions as others join in your mission to create change. Purpose fuels your ability to sustain compassion. Knowing why you are helping and what you hope to achieve gives your actions clarity and focus. Purpose transforms acts of kindness into a meaningful journey, guiding you through moments of doubt or difficulty. It anchors you to your values, ensuring that your light remains steady even in the face of challenges. Letting go of control is essential when helping others. The desire to fix or solve every problem can lead to frustration and burnout. Recognizing that some outcomes are beyond your influence allows you to release the burden of responsibility. Letting go does not mean indifference. It means trusting that your efforts, however small, contribute to a greater good. This trust lightens your load, freeing you to focus on what you can truly impact. Gratitude enhances your ability to help without losing yourself. By appreciating the opportunity to serve, you cultivate a sense of fulfillment that counteracts exhaustion. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is abundant, reinforcing the positive energy that fuels your inner flame. It reminds you of the interconnectedness of all beings, inspiring you to continue giving with an open heart. Flexibility is another key to sustaining compassion. Life is unpredictable, and rigid expectations can lead to disappointment or discouragement. Flexibility allows you to adapt to changing circumstances while maintaining your core values. It ensures that your actions remain relevant and effective, even in the face of unforeseen challenges. This adaptability keeps your light strong and your efforts impactful. Trusting others to contribute their light is an act of humility and wisdom. Recognizing that you are not the sole source of support empowers those around you to step into their own strength. Delegating or sharing responsibilities creates a ripple effect of compassion, magnifying the impact of your efforts. It also relieves the pressure to do everything alone, preserving your energy for what truly matters. Forgiveness, both of yourself and others, is vital in maintaining your inner flame. Mistakes and misunderstandings are inevitable, but holding on to them only weighs you down. Forgiveness frees you from the burdens of regret or resentment, allowing you to move forward with clarity and peace. It is a reminder that compassion begins with yourself, extending outward to those you serve. Mindfulness anchors you in the present moment, preventing you from becoming overwhelmed by the past or future. By focusing on the here and now, you ensure that your actions are deliberate and meaningful. Mindfulness also fosters self-awareness, helping you recognize when your flame is dimming and when it is time to step back and recharge. This awareness is the foundation of sustainable compassion. Sustaining your light while helping others is a journey of balance and intention. It requires honoring your needs, respecting your limits, and embracing the interconnectedness of all beings. By maintaining your inner strength, you not only preserve your own well-being, but also create a brighter, more enduring source of light for those around you. This balance is not only achievable, but essential, ensuring that your acts of compassion continue to inspire and uplift without depleting your spirit. Through this harmony, you embody the true essence of service, lighting the path for others while keeping your own flame alive and strong. Helping others is one of the most profound ways to connect with the world. But as the teachings of Buddhism remind us, true compassion begins with balance. Without nurturing your own inner strength, the act of giving can shift from a beautiful offering to a draining sacrifice. By understanding the importance of boundaries, mindfulness, and self-care, you create a sustainable way to help others while preserving your own light. The wisdom of the empty cup, the middle way, and the art of saying no all point to one truth. Your well-being is not a selfish pursuit, but a gift to those around you. Only when you are whole can you truly give from a place of abundance, inspiring others to do the same. It's not about giving less, it's about giving wisely, with intention and love. What resonated most with you today? Was it the idea of setting boundaries, the power of self-love, or the profound ripple effect of balance? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts and continue this meaningful conversation. If you found value in this discussion, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on content that nurtures your journey of growth and wisdom. Together, let's build a community of compassion, balance, and shared light. Thank you for being part of this journey, and until next time, take care of yourself as you care for others.